Creators Night episode 8. Guest BadBearGamer.
Hello,
So,
hello.
what's up, man?
Not a lot. Just got back. Apologize for being a little bit late to this.
Oh, it's all good. It's no rush. I'm not. This is all I'm doing. So,
Let me fix that. That should be good. Perfect.
so how long ago did you get into TikTok?
So TikTok's a funny thing because TikTok, I started looking at TikTok in 2019 and didn't actually utilize it in any way, shape, or form outside of just a way to pass the time. I feel like that's how everybody got started with TikTok.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started streaming that I realized the opportunity to create content on there and to be able to promote that content probably more directly than almost any other vehicle has been able to do that before. So realistically, I think I started posting. My first stream was on March 8th, 2020. So probably started posting right around there with the first ones. And obviously I've been doing it. I don't think I've missed a single day since.
Okay. So, yeah, I've only been doing it for, I think this is month 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I lose track of time right now because with everything going on, it does. But yeah, I posted a TikTok in April, and it didn't do well. I was still in the military at the time, and I got out like right after that, or at least I started my like military leave that I had saved up. And so in the process of moving and stuff, I had started to kind of look into like what worked and stuff like that on TikTok, you know, like how to get more engagement. And then it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, I had the benefit of, so through my actual job, I do financial services. So I work a lot with investments, retirement planning, financial elements, interest rates, that kind of stuff. But I work a lot with financial advisors on business development. And so through that has come a very, very good experience in marketing and branding and how to build a business because I've worked with them forever. So a lot of those key attributes have actually translated more than I thought they would when it came to doing it over here. And so when it came to content creation, I'd never really stepped in that arena before. But when I really started to focus on it, I started to realize, holy cow, there's a lot of the other stuff that I've been doing for a long time that translates very well. Comfortable being on camera, comfortable listening to your own voice, how to edit and use programs like Premiere Pro and Photoshop. And so was able to jump in and utilize a lot of that stuff early, which helped with the videos. Now, I go back now and I look at like the product that was produced. The first few TikToks were garbage, hot trash.
Yeah.
But that's anything, right? It's, listen, at some point you just have to jump and understand that I'm going to get better, but we got to start somewhere. We got to start at zero. And you pick up things along the way, you improve things, you drop things, you reformat things, you learn how to get better at everything. And eventually you get to this point that you're like, we're producing a pretty high quality output right now. And this isn't even, you always think you're mastering it. This isn't even anywhere of where it's going to be 6 months from now or whatever.
Right.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah. So I see the way that you make your videos. You actually take them and edit them, and you said Premiere.
Yeah, Premiere Pro. So I will stream. So I'll form TikToks in really 2 primary ways. Number one is obviously I'll film right on the camera using the TikTok app. A lot of times I'll do this if I'm, either myself or reply to a comment or anything along those lines. That's basic. Everyone can do that. The other side is when I do my game film or I make the more high-end quality production kind of TikToks. And with those, yeah, I'll stream on Twitch, download the Twitch, edit it in Premiere Pro, actually reformat it to go from 720, which is my output on Twitch, over to 1080, just because that's where a lot of my sizing is. And then put it into a ratio that's set for TikTok at like a 9:16 like output ratio or sequence setting. So that it literally is the size of a phone.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'll edit on Premiere Pro, upload back to my phone and promote from there.
Yeah, I haven't really dwelled into that too much yet, but I've been thinking about it.
I think it really comes here's what I've realized with TikTok growth specifically, talking about that medium versus any of the other mediums. TikTok growth is about brand identity and figuring out kind of what does my audience expect of me, right?
Yeah.
There are people who, and yourself is included, there's a bunch of other ones that are Twitch streamers, content creators that don't necessarily dive too deep into their gameplay because there's just not the brand and the image and the voice that they're communicating, right? You
Yeah.
found your greatest success, in all honesty, over the last few months replying to comments and
Yeah.
making it so instead of spending 10 seconds typing something, I'll spend 60 seconds recording something, and you're able to produce, 5 times as much content in a day, and all you need at that point is one of those responses to be catching and someone to resonate with it, to
Yeah.
go from, "Hey, I'm normally getting 1,200 views on a video," to this one blew up to 50K,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that growth is, I mean, there's no wrong answer. That's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah, it's definitely been kind of like a steadier growth for me. I never really have
Mhm.
one like explode really crazy. But I feel like since my videos are more personal, that's why I think it catches on more,
You create
with the audience that I have.
bingo, you create a stronger audience. There's a group specifically in the gaming community that do a lot of educational TikToks
Yeah.
and, a lot of, especially like with Call of Duty, loadouts and tips and tricks and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to your point, their viewership skyrocketed over a very short period of time. And it's because education is something that relates to everybody. How do I get better at this? You're helping teach people. But do you build that personal connection to that individual? Maybe. I've found that even with dramatically less, followers on TikTok, dramatically less followers on Twitch, I've actually compared the subscriber numbers. Our subscriber numbers are within an arm's reach of each other.
Hmm.
And it's because, to your point, I'd rather go inch wide, mile deep on the relationships that I have versus, having this gigantic pool that is
Yeah,
a whole bunch of people that I don't really know or connect with or relate to.
exactly. Sorry, man. I'm like kind of under the weather. I caught a cold,
Oh
so
no.
it's just hitting me today pretty bad. But I'm pushing through.
All right. You got
So
COVID? Are you dying?
no, it's definitely not COVID. It's just a cold. My girlfriend has a son from a previous marriage, and
Mhm,
he just started preschool. Because she's a full time student, and
mhm.
then I started taking this stuff on full time. So he started school, and you know how it is. They're gonna get sick there.
It
It's just
the
goes with the
the petri
territory.
dish.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So she didn't get it, but I did.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the genes or something.
I get it, man. Yeah, we have a 2.5-year-old, and it is the summer we've been blessed. She hasn't gotten sick or anything, but when it comes to wintertime, yeah, the daycare that she's in, it's a petri dish. I mean,
Yeah.
sick every week, it feels like, with something new, and it just runs like wildfire through the community, and, of course, then all the parents get it and everything, and it's like, "Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is not what we're needing."
So when did you start Twitch streaming?
My first Twitch stream was on March 8th, 2019. And actually it was a really funny, I literally have never done anything like this. I had gamed. I grew up on video games. I grew up playing games and grew up Xbox, Super Nintendo was like my original. That's what we had in the house. We had at one point like 2 Sega Dreamcasts. We had 2 64s. I grew up in a family of 6, so you could only imagine. I had 4. One of 4 brothers, and then I have 2 sisters. And yeah, video games were everywhere. So I've been playing forever, and realistically, I've been playing with the same people almost forever. I mean, we just went back and found 10 years ago when the original Modern Warfare was released. We did a trailer video that was promoting our group at the time,
Yeah.
and it literally is almost the same exact players I'm playing with today, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about that. So one day we were playing, and my buddy was just like, "Hey, man, this is February, right before COVID was really a thing. Like, people were talking about it, but no one really knew the impact it was going to have."
Yeah.
He was like, "Dude, you should start streaming." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, you make us laugh. Like, you're entertaining as hell when you play. I'm sure you'll make other people laugh and be entertaining for them." So I went out and, thought about, well, okay, how do I invest in this in a minimal capability? I didn't want to do just the application. Thankfully, I have a full-time career, so I have some income to be able to spend, got a capture card. Was working on the laptop I had at the time, like the rinky dink webcam, the microphone that was on like a tripod. Like it was just a lot of different things. My ring light, I think it's in the garage. My ring light was like this big, like literally it was the size of like a
Yeah.
mini donut almost. And that's how I started. And started editing TikToks and cutting it and building the brand. And thankfully, all things considered, I think I started about 3 weeks before the major rush happened. And I had my first video on TikTok go viral probably right as that was happening. And so that kind of gave me jet fuel before I think it became as saturated as it is today.
Yeah. And before I talk about the conversation me and Big Rob had, how did you run into Big Rob?
TikTok.
TikTok? Okay.
Literally. I'd seen his stuff a bunch, and so I followed him. It's really funny. It's really funny how TikTok specifically, I guess this goes for all socials, but TikTok is just the one that's in my mind the most. It You can be following somebody and seeing their stuff all the dang time, and on the flip side of that, they've never seen you before. Right, and it takes one video to pop up on their For You page for all of a sudden them to know who you are and for them to know what you're doing and then start running through. So Rob was that instance where I'd seen his stuff forever. He has always had more followership and overall, I'm gonna use the word clout, even though I hate it. But I was following his stuff forever, and sure enough, one video came across it. He commented on it. I commented back. He dropped a follow, and then we just started talking from there. And now it's into a situation where, yeah, we're messaging, weekly on various things. And he's now getting into the Twitch game and starting to stream and supporting him there. And he comes over and supports me. It's really cool how, hey, here's a guy who lives 1,500 miles away from me, but we're grinding and doing the same thing. And his content is awesome. I love his content so much.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
He really, really funny, big energy. And he's really genuine. That's the thing that I've noticed the most about getting to know people is you really quickly find out who's genuine and who's not, who's putting on a character for when they go live or when they're creating content versus who they actually are. And that's not always a negative thing. Right?
Right.
There's just some people that are super introverted and have to flip the switch when they make content and everything. It's not that they're all just, jerks and a-holes. It's way different. There's multiple different reasons, but with Rob, I mean, you could tell he's genuine from day one. And even now we're trying to figure out, we're messaging back and forth about trying different things, different hashtags, what works, what doesn't. And I'm talking to him about number of videos you post in a day. And I was like, he was doing kind of what you were doing, which is for a while there, he was doing like 10 videos a day. And then he
Yeah.
dropped back down to like 4 or 5. And I was like, do you see yourself with a dramatic difference? And he's trying to tell me about that. And I was like, you should really, try going like 2 or 3 and see if that makes a difference either. Just so you have the full spectrum. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to try that. The next day he popped off like 8 videos. And I messaged him and I was like, you're doing a great job. And he's like, he's like, nah, I can't do it. It's just not me. He's one of those people that immediately will start filming something when he thinks of it, which is,
Yeah.
it's cool. I mean, he's a good dude. How did you meet him before? I mean, did you know him before TikTok?
No, I didn't. I was actually scrolling through. I couldn't sleep one night for some reason. I couldn't shut off my brain or something. Those type of those nights. So I'm just sitting there scrolling through TikTok, and then I saw he posted something about gaming, and then I clicked his profile and I saw all the different stuff he talked about, and I saw he had a Twitch. So I clicked on it. He was live. It was actually pretty late too. It was like 1 a.m, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said hi, and then he was like, "Hey, I know who you are." And so we started talking, and yeah, then I hit him with a raid like a week later or something. And then I started talking to him more and got him on the podcast. And
Dude, that's so awesome.
yeah, he recommended that I check out your stuff after that. So
hey,
yeah.
giving me that hype.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
He is. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really cool. What I found is leveraging and playing the game of how do I connect with other creators, not only of my size, but hopefully people that are even bigger that I can learn from and kind of draw from and see what they're doing. But at the same time, at least in my opinion, how do I continue to give back to people who are still grinding, who haven't had that moment that not necessarily downloaded the app yesterday and are looking for instant success, but the people who kind of like you mentioned have been posting since April,
Hmm.
right? And have been doing it every day and doing the things they should be doing, but they just haven't had that one clip go viral or that connection point or that kind of aha moment. So it's fun because it's even in today's day and age with everything going on with COVID to have that type of community and that type of networking is just it's important.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I've had people comment on my stuff and ask for help, things like that. You know, ask what worked for me, and I do check out a lot of their profiles. You know,
Mhm.
and I get what you mean. The ones that stand out to me are the ones that you can see that they're trying. You know,
Mhm.
as opposed to the ones where like they have like one or two videos and they want somebody to give them the answers. You know,
Bingo.
so
Well, and I'm doing a series right now where I'm doing profile reviews, which is just I'll pull up your TikTok, I'll record it on my phone as I'm talking about it, and I'll just record myself my inner thoughts about what's going on. And so I tell people to drop your comment if you want one. I've done 2 so far. I have one more that I'm actually editing right now. Trying to do 1 or 2 a week type thing. But you're right. There are people who will post like review my TikTok and I'll look and they don't follow me. It's like, all right, well, you're not going to get that done. Or then they'll go, review my TikTok and I'll pull it up and literally they just started doing this like a week ago. And it's like really what's trying to catch my eye to your point of the people who again just have been doing that and they're trying to be active and trying to learn. And
yeah,
unfortunately, when you don't have followers, it's hard to connect. And most creators, mine aren't this way. My DMs are on. Like if you DM me and we're not friends, I see it. Um, but most creators have it so they have to be following you in order to message them, and I understand that because they're not necessarily looking for that, but I've always my biggest thing from day 1, from when I had, like, my first person pop in, I always told myself I wanted to be approachable and reachable to anybody who needed help, and so, like, even in things like our Discord, we have, like, an AMA server and Ask Me Anything, where if people post questions, sometimes my mods will jump in and answer them for me, but the reality is majority of the time I'll answer it myself. And it could be anything from something stupid and, funny, like food related, all the way to, hey man, like I'm trying to get this done. Like, what do you think about this setup or that setup or how is this done or whatever?
yeah, yeah.
Just trying,
That's cool.
yeah, trying to be as approachable as possible to the community. And to your point, kind of like what we talked about, building those deeper relationships. You know, that's important to me and it always has been. What
Yeah.
is what's your kind of biggest I'm gonna say the word love, but appreciation with like TikTok? Like what drew you to it and keeps you kind of continuing to grind on it?
I really like the interaction. You know,
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing for me. People ask me why I stream, and I tell them it's because the interaction is what I care about. It's not like necessarily about trying to get famous or something like that. That's just that's awesome and everything, but I mean I do pop into other bigger streamers, streams and stuff, and when I don't see them interacting with the chat, I'm just like I don't know, I don't get it. To me that's like the fun part.
I
So
agree.
yeah, but yeah, TikTok is. I mean, it's kind of like you're always chasing like the next big thing. Like what. I don't really get into trends too much, and I don't think my
Mhm.
audience cares about that too much. They like the personal stuff. So having to kind of like problem solve and figure out like what's like a something that you can do different to keep it different and entertaining. That's fun to me. You know.
Yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, I mean it's always changed. It's literally it's like crack with Red Bull, you know what I mean? It changes so fast and something
Yeah.
that's popular and happening is going to be here this moment and it's gone the next. It's like
Yeah.
you need to capitalize on it now or you're done. And the same is true even like when you have a video go viral. Like it's going to boost all the videos that you've posted in a short amount of time. And
Yeah.
so it's like when you start to see that, we got to get on our high horse and start pumping out content
Yeah.
because we're getting an adrenaline rush.
Yep.
It's a good time. I like TikTok.
Yeah, I definitely underestimated it. Well,
Oh,
I think a lot of people made fun of it back in the
who the
beginning.
heck knew? I mean, the way I got introduced to TikTok was it used to pop up on my Facebook, right? And it used to pop up with like back when it was like Musically,
Yeah.
with the cosplayers and dressed up and basically like lip singing, and most of them were 13, and you're like, all right, what is this app? I'm never going to download this. And then, yeah, and then it started to evolve and you actually download it. And realistically, what I first equated it to is it was almost like Vine, right? It was like a new version of Vine.
Yeah.
And you literally could just waste 30 minutes, an hour, just scrolling through and entertaining yourself off of what other people are creating. And it's so instant, like satisfaction and instant humor, um, that it is addicting to that standpoint. But man, yeah, it blew up. I mean, way larger. The thing I fear, and they're doing a great job of it, is I just they need to keep their algorithm available to everybody so that especially as the celebrities keep coming over, it's not like they're blowing up my feed just because they're celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I could care less if the Kardashians made a TikTok. But if somebody that falls into my algorithm created one that didn't have one before, like I do want to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I do appreciate like the stand-up comedy. I do appreciate like the humor-esque type of TikToks. And so like one of my favorite celebrity TikTokers is Kevin James.
Okay.
Have you seen his stuff?
I haven't.
Oh, Kevin James is so good on TikTok. He does these very high production value TikToks where he's taking classic movie scenes and he's pretending he's the guy with the boom mic in all of the scenes.
Okay. I think I saw
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, they're so good. There's so many of them. But like that's the type of stuff I'm here for. Like somebody who's going to actually take this seriously and falls into, what
Yeah.
is my personality algorithm. I'm here for
Yeah.
that.
So how many, on average, how many would you say you post a day?
Two
Two?
on average. Yeah, I'm always at least one. Usually it's two, and then there are days. I think the most I've ever done is like six. I've thought about trying to go heavier. What I found is when I posted more, my average viewership went down, and I get it, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'd rather focus on kind of the quality element versus just the quantity. Now, I made that decision before they started allowing video replies to comments,
Yeah.
because that was probably in like April or May that came out, that feature. This was back when I was just like, specifically, all I was posting was game clips. I was like, do I really want to post every clip imaginable, or should I really wait on the one or two that happened that night that are good and just only focus on those? So I made that decision. But yeah, I mean, I try to pump it out regularly. But obviously, I mean, again, at the same time, I got a family, I got a full-time job, I got, a bunch of people who don't even understand what TikTok is, especially in the financial world. Like you talk about, two industries that are just not connected.
Yeah.
Like financial, stockbrokers, Wall Street, and TikTok creative, like those are two different worlds. So, my clients and my coworkers and peers and everybody there, it's just like those are two separate entities in my world.
Okay. Yeah, I decided to go full time with content creating. So obviously the podcast, I started posting podcast highlights. Those seem to do well. On YouTube, I mean. And then the TikToks, I 100% get what you're saying. I think it's better to post fewer game clips or stream highlights, but wait for those really high quality ones, the ones that are special.
Yeah, and here's what I learned, right? And this is so true. Because it became so saturated, everybody has a highlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the ones that do well, and this is kind of marketing, 301 instead of 101, they're telling a story. It's not just the clip.
Right.
There's something more to this because 99.9% of gamers aren't good enough to be pros and get by on their gameplay alone. Right? We're not on the pro circuit. We're not signed to esports teams. You could be unbelievable at the game, but you're still just not at that level that's what's going to get you by.
Yeah.
So what do people want? Well, people want to be entertained, and you have to have a little bit of a storytelling element where you're setting up the clip, whether that's through a voiceover or a recorded video through your editing process, and telling them kind of what's going on and what's happening, and really bringing forth your personality throughout the experience so that it's way less about the gameplay and way more about that was an entertaining 30 seconds of my life that I just watched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun. And when they get that reaction is when you drop the follow or when you comment or you like the video. So that's what I think a lot of gamers right now are missing on TikTok is all they're doing is taking their game clip and they're formatting it down to this little brick in the middle of
Yeah.
their feed. And it's like, I don't care about you playing Halo, right? If I watch something and I enjoy it, it's really not because you got a quad kill on a grenade. No, it's because you got excited and your reaction was comical. And, you kind of set up the story that puts us into this situation where it's kind of like, all right, I can see myself there. I've been in that situation before. It starts to become relatable. And
Yeah.
that's when things start taking off, specifically in the gaming community, which again is
Yeah.
where I live.
Yeah, after watching some of your game clips, I've been thinking about putting a little more effort into those ones because I do get what you mean. That little brick size thing, I could see how a lot of people just see that and they swipe right past because like, oh, that's ugly.
Immediately.
It's all this empty space, you know?
Yeah, and if I took one today and posted it in that format, is it going to get views? Maybe, but that's because I have a predisposed. But if I'm trying to get discovered, if I'm trying to create a community and have people actually watching me, I have to maximize my opportunity. And the reality is if you think about your phone, right, you have all of the space that you need to be utilizing. And if you're utilizing 20% of it, well, that's 80% of your space that you're not doing anything with.
Yeah.
And yes, I use Premiere Pro. Yes, that's on the highest end of the budget, but there are free program editors even on your phone that you can get that can, maximize that opportunity and make you stand out. And then as you continue to grow, then you can be investing in things that you feel like, hey, this is an upgrade for me, or I'm going to go get this, I'm going to go get that. That's what you want to be thinking about. And then specifically, people just want to have fun. I
Yeah.
want to enjoy watching something. If it was really sweet gameplay, and I've had a couple of those clips and I was like, this is really sweet gameplay.
Yeah.
Um, that might take off, but I've had times that I'm like, this is a dope clip and it went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And my most viewed clip actually, again, is 100% about storytelling. It was a single snipe that I hit that was 350 meters away, which is good. But the whole thing is the storytelling with the music is well timed. It's a well paired, and I pay a lot of attention to the music that I choose in almost all of my videos. Um, but then it's talking about, okay, as I'm dropping down, like what's going on, here's the situation. Text is popping up that's talking about this is what was happening, and this is what's going through my mind, and this is why I did this and when I went here. And then boom, there's this clip of the actual gameplay. And then it's my partner at the time, her reaction to the whole thing, right? Which is also comical. It was a really genuine
Yeah.
reaction. And it's like you put all these little pieces together and you've created something that is attractive, right? And yeah, there's going to be people who hate. It's the internet. There always is. But the majority of the people, again, it's the most viewed clip that I've had ever. But it had nothing really to do with the gameplay because if I isolated the gameplay, that happens once a night regardless, something like that.
Yeah. So I think a good example for me is so I started playing Fortnite. I never really was into it. But I mean, being on the gaming / streaming side of TikTok, you see a lot of those game clips. When I stumble upon those Fortnite ones, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's just like stuff flashing on the screen. Yeah, there's no context. It's just quiet, and so I definitely see how you have to use some. I don't want to call them tricks, but you have to use skill to intrigue people who don't know anything about Call of Duty or to reach a broader audience. So I definitely.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. I'm just kind of going on. I definitely want to put more effort into it. So
yeah, man, it's in sales they always talk about, right? Somebody makes a decision in the first 30 seconds whether they like you or not. They're reading your language. In TikTok world, that's way more condensed. You got about 2 seconds to really understand, am I going to keep watching this TikTok or not? Because I find myself doing it where you're just flip until something catches your eye.
Yeah.
And so you're right. You got to have something that stands out. You have to have something that hooks in those first few seconds. the newest craze as of today that's been happening is a lot of people now are not just using the TikTok kind of fonts, but they're using their editors to post their text that way. So they can get bigger block text that is custom and used a lot in advertisement and fonts that aren't just Times New Roman. Like there's more thought being put into it, but when you hit one of those videos, you can tell this is an upgraded video. Like this
Yeah.
is better than the other stuff that I watch. And
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with the, bit rate or the output of the actual clip. It's not like, oh, this is a 4K video. Like, no, it's the production value of it. It's the storytelling that's what sells, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because where I'm thinking right now, where my mind's at is, I've seen a pretty good ratio of my TikTok audience go over to Twitch. I'm getting close. I think I'm right around like 19K on Twitch, and I'm somewhere close to 70K on TikTok. So to me, that's
were you 0 on both of them when you started?
So when I started, yeah, 0 on TikTok, and then I think I had just under 50 followers or around 50 followers on Twitch.
That's awesome.
I pretty much just hit affiliate, like a couple months before that.
So your conversion is way higher than my numbers then in that case.
So the thing for me though is like, how do I keep that going? How do I keep improving to get those people who look at it, but they don't go out of their way to follow or check out the Twitch? How do I start getting those people? You know what I mean? Go the extra mile.
For sure. Yeah. And even though it's a couple extra steps, I mean, it really is what I've found through this. And this is at least, and I don't know if this is exclusive to my community, but it seems like it's a universal truth, is people, specifically when they're utilizing Twitch, yes, they want to be entertained, but they also want to be part of something.
Yeah.
And I was explaining this to my wife because she just doesn't understand it. She's like, why are people paying money to like subscribe to your channel? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, you're not that special. That's like, I know, I get it. But at the end of the day, what they're doing more than anything else is they're looking at it from the standpoint of, all right, I'm part of something bigger. It's not just me supporting this individual, but this person's community.
Yeah.
Right. I get to know these people. And when I pop in, they take the time to like recognize, oh, that name, and say hey to me. And, and then they join the Discord, and then they have an open line of communication to talk with the community and share what's going on. And we literally, like, some of the coolest things that I have are people who have said, like, literally, I created a Twitch just to watch you based on your TikToks because I wanted to see it live. And it's like, that is the coolest thing, in my opinion, that has happened, just because, like, that's such, to your point, that extra mile, that extra step that somebody comes for that.
It's crazy when I get people that come in and they're like, hey, I don't really like watch Twitch, but I decided to come stop by and check out your channel. And I'm just like, hey, thanks for going out of your way. That's crazy. I really appreciate it. Like, it does mean a lot to me.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And then it's fun because you do get to know these people, at least to some extent. There's a handful of individuals that have been there from day one. They literally have. They're in almost every stream. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes they're there the whole time. But they never really disappeared. But there has been, especially lately, there's been these individuals who kind of followed me very early on. And then for whatever reason, usually it's been military. They get deployed somewhere or moved position somewhere, and they, are off the grid for a little bit, but then they've come back and they've been like, dude, when I left you, you had like 3 viewers, and I logged on and you have 68. It's like, what the hell happened? It's like, it's cool to see those people come back and their genuine kind of reaction to everything, because they're like, holy cow, like, something's happening here.
Yeah. What really surprises me is when I get the people that I've had a few people, like, every video I post that they see, they'll comment and like say like, your hair's dumb or something like that. I've had some of those people go, you know what? Like, I used to hate on you, but you seem cool, so I dropped a follow.
Hey, so whether or not, there's always negativity on the internet.
Yeah.
And whether or not I'm going to put up with it depends on my mood that day. I've gone as far as making full TikTok responses that are simply just, bastardized responses. Just, I'm trying to be an asshole because you were an asshole to me. But majority of times, I've had times where, I'll play the game with them in the chat, and and messaged them back and forth. And I remember these people, you know?
Yeah.
So two different instances. One time I literally went back and forth with this dude who was trying to tell me that I wasn't good. And I was trying to explain to him, like, that's not the point. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that I'm the best player ever.
Yeah.
And eventually, after like literally the comment thread was like 18 long, I got him to agree. He was like, well, I was like, well, you're already investing so much time on my page. You might as well just drop a follow. He's like, you know what? Fine. And he dropped it. And then the other one was somebody dropped in and said something that was super rude on one of my TikToks. And then like a month later, I responded to him, but he didn't say anything. About a month later, he posted again. And of course, I'm going to know who this dude is. I remember these people. And
Yeah.
just sure enough, I clap back at him again. I go, he's back, you know? And I was like, but he's got 2 new TikToks this time. Because of course, I'm the dude who, like, you say something like that, I'm gonna pull up your feed and I'm gonna be like, all right, who's this guy? Who's this jerk that wants to say something? How many videos does this guy have? But yeah, it's someone's always got something to say. That's the one thing I've learned. And again, majority of time I don't do anything with it, but
Yeah.
sometimes I will.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, especially now with how it's been growing, I definitely realize, hey, it's seriously a waste of time to deal with those people. Yeah, it doesn't benefit anybody.
The only benefit that I found is if I can leverage it to boost myself again. And again, that's why sometimes, like, I've created full-on video, and they've actually been some of my most, I've done 2 that I can think of. I've probably done more than that, but 2 that I can think of that literally were some of my most popular videos that I've done just because they were the biggest,
you
know, clap back that you have. And it's such a public forum that there's no response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like you get the final word in the argument, and then you just get to walk away. And they can try to post in the chat and stuff, but yeah,
I've had some of those situations. I like to use it, especially I did start to open up more about the military and stuff like that, you know, because people have been asking. And there's a lot of people who just don't really know anything about the Coast Guard.
None.
And I've been using that to educate, you know.
Well, even just the military in general.
Yeah.
You know, I have a buddy who is enlisted in the Marines, and like, even when I hear things that, like, he tells me, it's so outside of your average person's viewpoint of what is actually this like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is this lifestyle? What is this attitude? What is this service? What is this sacrifice that these individuals are making to do something way bigger than themselves? And your average person just doesn't understand that. I saw the one of yours of the guy who, like, clapped back, like, about, like, your height. It's like, bro, like, what are you gonna do? First of all, that's God given, not something anyone can control. But second of all, to your point, like, let's look at what this actually allows me to do. You know what I mean? We can carry more, we can do more. I weigh less. There's less time and equipment wasted on the human element to this, that we can get more resources and tools and services to what needs to happen. It's just, it astounds me the way some people think.
Like I said, I like to use it to kind of educate people because they really don't know anything about it. So when you can give some perspective, it's personal. So people, I think that helps to create a connection, you know, for sure.
I agree. I mean, it also, 95% of people will shut down, right? They said it as a joke. They don't want the public, you know, they'll apologize pretty quick. It's the 5% of those people that are gonna, you know, stand their ground and be like, and to your point, you're not gonna gain anything there. It's just, it's an endless, it's like debating politics. It's not going anywhere.
Because I did reply to that one and I explained that, and then somebody commented and said, well, I don't see how it would make that much of a difference. Would you got like an extra 10 seconds of flight time? So I made another one and I explained. I was like, no, it's more like 10 minutes, you know? And when you're flying 100 miles offshore, you know, means 10 minutes is a lot when somebody's out there stranded in the middle of the ocean, you know? So that one, I think nobody talked crap about that one. So
you did it. You finally got the last chapter in.
I think so, yeah. And then, well, I still go back and look because I didn't want to like overdo it with the military stuff. I don't want people, because somebody did say, they were like, I think you're just doing this for views. Like, is this stolen valor? You know? So I responded to that one. I showed pictures and stuff.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and then today I kind of went back and looked because I like to go back to some of the ones that do well and look at the comments because people ask questions and stuff. and somebody was like, uh, they asked about the military, the Coast Guard's Homeland Security, and so then today I explained, I was like, well, Coast Guard's Homeland Security, so that they can have law enforcement capabilities. If any other branch of the military wants to board a boat, they have to bring the Coast Guard. So that's where the Coast Guard fits into everything, you know? So like I said, just educating people, because I have a lot of people, they're like, I thought the Coast Guard just like sat around on boats. Like, what do they do? So I had to explain, you know? So it's cool.
Your bodyguards at the big pool.
Yeah. We guard the coast.
That's it. No, man, it's very cool to see kind of the growth and the opportunity that's there. And I mean, it's nuts. I mean, do you follow Mark Clark?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Mark Clark is he's got like 500K followers, does a lot of gaming, got started on TikTok and just really blew up, really good production value. Yesterday he posted a video that was he dropped into a game live on stream, was talking to this random guy, invited him back to the party afterwards. He saw that he had his Twitch handle in the clan tag area. So he's like, man, are you streaming? The guy's like, yeah, I got, one viewer right now. Mark's got, 800. And he has no idea who Mark is.
Yeah.
Invites him into the private game, kind of talks to him. And the guy explains in the lobby, he's like, yeah, I broke my knee and busted my leg. And so, I just thought I'd go all in while this is recovering and try to stream for the next 6 months and see what happens because I can't do anything else. So Mark makes a TikTok about this guy. And in 24 hours, it got over 4.5 million views. The guy went from, he only had one. Well, Mark during the stream said, if you create a TikTok, I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
So the guy created a TikTok. So literally created it on the spot. Now he's over 100K followers on TikTok. And he had, I think it was, I forgot the actual, like 40 something thousand or not subscribers, but followers now on Twitch in one day.
That's crazy.
Like you talk about the impact. Like I was joking with Mark because I said literally not on TikTok. He didn't outpass him on TikTok, but I was like, in one day he gained more followers on Twitch than you have, And I was like, that's crazy to think about that ripple effect. It's nuts, dude. But that's why I love TikTok, is because unlike any other social medium, you can catch that fire so fast on TikTok. On YouTube, it's unlikely that you're going to have a video that blows up that quickly in that amount of time and directly correlates back to people subscribing.
Yeah.
Right? You can have something that over time gains a lot of viewers. You can have your most popular video. You can have something that does take off, but usually it's within a relative fence. Instagram, same thing. There's just not the same amount of discoverability. Twitter, same thing. But for whatever reason with TikTok, it's such wildfire when it catches, and the algorithm is so designed to promote what's hot that it takes one. It takes one video to get started. And for some people, that goes from 0 to 5,000 followers in a day.
Yeah.
Other people like this, you go from 0 to 100K because somebody big, like an angel, was just watching over you and being like, hey, this guy needs some love and support in this time. It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy how TikTok can, like, I guess what I was trying to say is that like with the whole TikTok ban thing, when that was really big in the news, there's some more talk about it. I don't know I'm sure you're paying attention to it. But my girlfriend she just came in and she was like, it was one of the comments like, what are you gonna do when TikTok shuts down? And I was like, I got a YouTube. And I went from, I think, 8 to 1,500 YouTube subscribers overnight. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, my biggest rushes in the last 3 months have come off of 2 viral videos. There's just high correlation when that happens. And then you're right, is when the news broke down the first time, I made a video that was basically like, hey guys, like, I appreciate everything. This is it. Do me a favor, drop me a follow on the other socials. And I gained a massive amount of following in a very short period of time because of that.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I think right now we're at like 65,000 on TikTok. I'm at about 700 on YouTube. A little bit over that. We just crossed over 2,500 on Twitch, but literally I looked at the number this morning. So we got like a little bit over 2,500 on Twitch, but over 1,100 of them are subs. Like
Jeez.
that's
That's crazy.
nuts.
Yeah, that's one of the things that caught my eye about your Twitch too, was that yeah, even with the amount of like followers that you have a decent amount of people watching out of those. You know, like for me, it's been a much slower like incline as far as that. And I do notice that I don't know if it's because TikTok is that really, you know, short videos, short content. I get that huge explosion on Twitch. Like I go live on TikTok like 30 minutes before I go live on Twitch, and I'll be like, all right, if you guys want to, you know, keep hanging out, like I'm going over to Twitch. And like yesterday, I had like 506 people when I started.
Dude, that's awesome.
And then it goes down, and I think I averaged like 160 something for the rest of the stream. But it's just like you could kind of see how, I don't know if it's, well, yesterday my internet was acting up, so I don't know what that had to do, like what the numbers would have been like if that hadn't happened, where I had to like go offline and back online. But I do wonder if having the majority of your audience on Twitch from TikTok means that they're not going to watch as long. You get what I mean? Like I think about stuff like that too.
No, you're absolutely correct. I think it really depends, because what I get a lot of, the reason why we get such strong interaction is people will come over, and like when they post, it's not just me saying hi, but my community like welcomes them and is talking, and they're bantering back and forth like as I'm playing, and they're very, very active.
Yeah.
And that helps, because if you're new, you're immediately engrossed into that, right? And you're entertained maybe not only by the gameplay because I'm an idiot, but also by just the chat that's going on, and that interaction as well. And you're like, holy cow, this is a community. It's the same thing that like people are so invested in frats. It's like you just want to be part of something that's bigger, right? You want to be a part of connecting with people, and gamers especially. A lot of gamers suffer from, you know, mental illness, whether that's depression or maybe it's anxiety or you know, they're extremely introverted. And so for a lot of us, it's like that's their escape, right? That's the moment that they get to disconnect and turn their brain off. And so if I can connect kind of shields down with other people that I know they're kind of that same way, dude, that's what's awesome about it. And that's why I think our sub ratio is so high, is just because, to your point earlier, we do an excellent job integrating, interacting, hanging out, and just having a good time and making it a production value. And I think people experience that. And again, we'll have people who pop in for 10 minutes, and we'll have people who stay for the full 5-hour stream. I literally, the other day, I did my first 12-hour stream. That was 2 weeks ago. We were peaking at about 120 on viewers. We averaged 60 for the whole stream. So there was a big drop off after that first about hour.
Yeah.
But there was, I think, 4 or 5 people that were there for 12 hours. They were there the whole damn time. And that's insane. I was exhausted at the end. I couldn't imagine sitting watching somebody for that whole time. And I know that because they were text, you know, it's not just at the end they're like, been with you or something. No, they were messaging throughout the entire thing and commenting.
Yeah.
Like, holy buckets. Like
humbling.
I love my community. Yeah. And but that's what fuels my desire to want to stay connected with them for as long as I can. I understand there's this scaling issue where at some point it's going to become tough. And I already start to see that. Like when I'm playing, the chat moves so quick that things get missed when they didn't get missed before. I used to be able to see something and I caught everybody's comment. There's been times now where somebody's posted somebody, and somebody who is a meaningful part of my community hopped in and literally just said one quick thing, but I missed it because I was, you know, it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And that part's tough, but I keep telling people, like, at the end of the day, I spend a large amount of my time commenting back to people on Discord, commenting back to almost every comment that's a meaningful comment on any of my TikToks, and responding to almost every DM unless it's something stupid. And it's because I want to be that person that, you know, how many times does somebody message you and is like, hey, I know you're not going to see this, but just in case you do, like, would really like this. And you give them the answer that they're looking for. And they're like, holy cow. Like,
yeah,
did not think you would have the time. And it's like, I want to be that connection because that makes an impression.
Yeah, for sure. So I've definitely started to notice it more that I miss stuff, you know, and people remind me like, hey, I said this and you didn't see it, and I'm like, okay, like I try to explain. I'm like, I'm sorry. If it's a question you have, then yeah, TikTok is a really good place because I read everything. But even TikTok now, it's gotten to the point where I can't respond to everything because it'll like make me take a break. It will
Yeah,
literally
dude.
not let me comment. So
It's and the crazy part about it is like if you got things that are happening, like I post a video today and the video from yesterday is catching views. So I'm responding to comments that are there. But I also have this video that's been going viral for like 3 weeks. There's comments on that shit that I'm like, you know, someone posts a comment on there. If I didn't see it when it happened, like I'm gonna lose that. It's not like I'm going back.
yeah,
Usually I try to do a good job of like, especially at night before I go to bed, pulling up TikTok and going through like my last 4 videos and making sure every comment, at least a meaningful one, is responded to. But I'm not going back to something from 3 weeks ago,
yeah,
so unless it popped up in my notification, it's like I missed it, But
yeah,
it's it's tough to your point, and it's a challenge of scaling. It's a great problem to have, but it's a problem nonetheless because you will have people that will not understand. They
hmm,
won't comprehend the challenges and complexity that goes into streaming. They won't comprehend the multitasking necessity of doing it and won't be able to fully appreciate kind of everything you're trying to do and stay there, and they'll just be like, well, he's not the same. I'm out. It's like,
yeah,
well, no, I'm the same person. It's harder.
yeah. How long do you normally stream for?
So I used to set a schedule. And that's because I read online and saw these YouTube videos and all these people talking about set a schedule. People want to know when you're going live, blah, blah, blah. I did my interview with Crusader, which she has become actually, I'm wearing her merch right now. That's embarrassing. But I am a fanboy. It is what it is. But I'm really big on like loyalty. And she was, to your point, I want to go back a second because this is exactly what we were talking about. I had at the time probably about 5,000 viewers on TikTok. And I had a video, somebody tagged her in it. She took the time to respond to the tag. And that was really cool to me. And then I reached out to her and through luck completely got a hold of her. And she took the time to not only respond to some questions that I had, but agreed to do an interview, a full length interview, spend an hour with this person that she's never met. That immediately was like, boom, this is what I want to kind of be. This is who I want to be. This is what I want to become. And I'm forever going to be loyal to her brand and her production because of that, because that is what I want. She and I still stay in really good communication. And she follows me on all the socials, and it's like to have that open line of communication is so impactful and powerful. But to your point then, like it just becomes tougher as you continue to grow to stay on top of that. But Cruz taught me that like you at the end of the day are what people are coming to watch. It's not the gameplay, right?
Yeah,
It's not that he's playing Fall Guys tonight. It's they want to come hang out with you, or if you play with a group, they want to come hang out with the group. And she's like, if you force yourself and put yourself in situations that you're not yourself, they're going to know, and your product is going to fall.
yeah,
And so what she does, and this is what I adapted, is she eliminated her stream schedule. And she goes, I stream when I want and how long I want. And sometimes that's going to be, and I play what I want, right? It's not, I'm tied to one game. It's not, I'm tied to one day. And I think that's so freaking smart. So normally what I do now is I normally go in about a week block where on my Discord, I'll post my schedule for the week. This is what I'm doing. But then even then I have days where I'll post and say, hey guys, like I'm just not feeling it. I'm not going to stream tonight.
okay,
And they're fine with it. And then there's other
yeah,
days that I had no stream on. I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm in a mood right now. Let's go.
yeah. I get what
And
you mean.
boom, they'll flood over. So yeah, I play pretty much my rule is I play when and want and how I want. And so sometimes that means it's a 2.5 hour stream playing something that I've never
Yeah,
played before. And other times, it's a 7 hour stream because we're going till 2 a.m. just grinding because I'm just having fun and I'm feeling it. And it's fine.
yeah,
If I get tired, I'll hop off. And if I feel myself crabby, I'll leave. And that at least protects the quality, I think, because otherwise you're tied to something that is arbitrary anyways. It doesn't That's not really why they're there.
Yeah. So I mean, my situation is I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, and
Mhm.
so I don't have like a separate space for my gaming setup.
Yep.
So I do have to stick to a schedule for now. But I've told them, I'm like, yeah, once I get like my own space, things will change. But I do get a lot of questions. People are like, why don't you stream for like 8 hours a day? And I'm just like, I got a lot of other stuff that I do besides that. I like to I try to tell them I don't look at myself as a streamer. I look at myself as a content creator that streams.
Correct.
Um, but yeah, I was, at least at first, I was streaming for like 3 hours, 5 times a week, and then now I do 4 hours, 4 times a week. But I definitely want to increase that. I just applied for partner, so that whole viewer average issue is really not a concern anymore.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not as focused on it. Um, so now it's interesting to kind of see, like, all right, let's see where things go.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about Twitch specifically, in this goes for the content creation element, but Twitch doesn't have any discoverability. So me just to
Yeah,
hammer out time there is challenging because it doesn't do anything. However, it's your revenue source, right? So it's like when I stream, that's when subs and bits and all that's coming in. So it's this really kind of fine line of, okay, how much do I commit to that? Because that's where the money's coming from. But I also have to be investing in the fuel that's firing the whole engine because
yeah.
Twitch isn't doing
Hmm.
that. And yeah, people just they don't comprehend the time that content creation really requires when you do it properly, right? Editing a YouTube video is the worst. It's the best and it's the worst at the same time. But you
Yeah,
literally can spend a full night, like 6 hours editing a video, and people just don't see that. They see the final product and they don't understand all the time that went into that.
yeah,
But you need to split it and invest it between the various departments because both are important. But so often people want to, yeah, just funnel out streams. And it's like that works for some people, and
yeah,
especially if you already have a following and you kind of gain viewers without doing anything. Like I post one TikTok a day or two TikToks a day, and it's just my viewership count on those TikToks automatically makes it go viral. Like that's a sweet position to be in. I'm not in it, but it'd be sweet.
yeah.
And then in that level, you can just focus on it.
Yeah, I think it was Chunky Hustle. Do you know who that is?
Mhm.
He told me that as he got bigger, he started posting less and less, and now he just posts once a day, and every single one of them gets at least 500,000 views. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely plan on, like, as I grow, focus more on the quality instead of the quantity. Um, but like right now, I just feel like throwing a bigger net, with different types of things, like the military stuff, the gaming stuff with just my girlfriend, just those different
Mhm.
things. um it's interesting to like step back and think, like, all right, so what's the next, like, what's the plan, you know what I mean? I think the biggest thing I need to work on is definitely my time management. I do need to
It's
like set a schedule. It
I
sucks, but I do.
I have been communicating this to my community that it is the biggest thing that I struggle with, and it's because I burn until I go on empty and then I crash. And it's like I need time to recover. And so I keep telling them like I'm going to force myself to stay off. And the problem is more often than not, I don't abide by my own rules. I come on. But yeah, I mean, I have so many projects in the burner that need to be taken care of. And when I am not full time on it and I'm doing it part time, it's like time management is just so critical. And you can't just keep adding to the to do list because otherwise it'll never get done. And that's tough. But yeah, you're right, man. That's the toughest thing, and it's invest and then not just managing your hours in your day, but investing in the things that matter.
Yeah,
Harris Heller, do you watch this stuff?
absolutely. Yeah,
Love Harris. So he on YouTube constantly produces videos, obviously about just stream mechanics and not just the tech side, but also the business side. And the business side is so true, which is he's like, at the end of the day, one of my favorite videos is when he went through his actual revenue stream because he's like, yeah, I make a good amount of money on you or on uh, Twitch, but he goes, I make almost equally amount from all the other elements. So when you talk about doing this for a living and creating a
Yeah.
revenue and providing for your family and setting yourself up to make this an actual job, like you do want things, you want multiple income producing assets. You want things that
Yeah.
are generating opportunities. And if all you do is promote to Twitch, yes, that can be a great generator, but you're missing out on, again, ad revenue and view revenue from YouTube. And
Yeah.
when you build those other brands, now you're more marketable. You can pick up better sponsorships and sign the agreements you want to sign versus the ones you have to sign, and it's like it becomes a smarter business. And you have to think about it like that. You have to think about it like a business, not just I'm doing this for fun.
Yeah.
It's no, if Google was this company, what would they be doing?
Yeah, I'm
You know?
still trying to figure out how to promote YouTube on TikTok because it feels like I don't know if it's something because I know they scan the videos as you upload them, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know if they notice like YouTube or I'm sure it does pick it up where like if you do have the word YouTube on there, I think it does think okay, they're trying to get them to go somewhere else, it doesn't push it as much.
Yep.
So that's where it's tricky for me right now is trying to figure out how to get around that. You
What I
know?
would do, how are you editing your videos?
Well, see, that's the thing. I when I post clips from like the podcast and stuff, it's that lazy block style. So I think changing that would make a big difference.
Yeah. What do you edit your YouTube in?
I literally just I pull up the video on my phone, record it, and then post it. And I put stuff. I stopped putting the word YouTube and things like that on there,
Yeah.
and let just like the video catch people and that speak for itself. And that's worked to an extent.
Yeah, what I would do if it was me is I would take the YouTube video because I'm not producing a lot of my stuff is like stream highlights. It's like it's not stuff that I
Yeah.
necessarily need to pull over. Now that we built this new PC, I'm going to be doing more original content. It's on the to-do list. But I would be taking a segment of it and um whatever clip you're trying to show, try to keep it condensed, 15 seconds because that's what TikTok likes.
Yep.
Have a YouTube emblem pop up and something pop up that just says, even if it's a TikTok text, it's like full video out now, link in bio. So you don't actually say the word YouTube. It's a
Right.
clip off of your YouTube channel, but the YouTube emblem pops up. I guarantee they're not scanning for that. TikTok's text pops up, which TikTok loves that whenever you're using their editing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, just link in bio, full video out now. People are going to know. They know what you're doing.
Yeah. But
But
I've
you
noticed
can
that
get
when I
away.
post it right now. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying you can get away without ever saying the word
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. That's when I finally realized, hey, that's probably why those don't do as well, is because of that. That's when I started to kind of figure it out a little bit. So I appreciate it. That definitely, my girlfriend's not gonna like it, but I'm definitely gonna spend more time editing stuff like that. So
Yeah, it actually really isn't that bad. It takes time to get to know and to get to learn, but once you
yeah,
understand it, and specifically once you set up presets, so you can immediately just jump in. Like if I go on to it's literally sitting right in front of me. Like if I hop over and grab it and click new setting or new sequence on Premiere Pro, like there's a TikTok preset that is the correct ratio, it's the correct frame rate. So then when I drop things in, like it's already ready to go. And I kind of already know what I'm doing there. But it takes time to set all that up and to make it, like anything.
and you said that's Adobe Premiere that you're using.
I use Adobe Premiere and love it, but it's also got a price tag to it. I know
How
that.
much is it?
So I get the full suite. So I have Premiere, Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator, literally any Adobe product. And I think it's 34 a month,
Okay.
which isn't the end of the world, but you add that up and you're like, am I really spending, call it
Yeah.
400 bucks? I don't even own the software. I'm just licensing it.
Right.
You can pay annually, but there's no longer, these companies got smart. They realized we don't need to do this one-time purchase anymore. This is like what Microsoft Word does now,
Yeah.
where you can buy it for a year, but every year they're going to tag you again because they make more money. Smart business decision, but it sucks to be the
Yeah.
consumer.
There's a way to get Adobe Premiere just by itself, right? Or at least not with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Without the full suite. Yeah. My guess. And I don't know the cost, but it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah, because I already have Photoshop because my girlfriend uses my laptop and she has Photoshop, so I just hop on the laptop and do it on there when I use Photoshop.
Yeah. My guess is, you could easily find it. But
Yeah,
I love Premiere. It's the most robust system, in my opinion. It can do the most things. the least user friendly. So, but if you're familiar with like Photoshop and the way Adobe does like their sequencing and commands and things, it should be pretty familiar.
Okay, yeah, because right now I use DaVinci Resolve.
Yep.
Um,
And
and
that's it's a good editor. It's free.
yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I think I while I was editing something the other day, I checked and I was like looking for like the ratio thing to change it so it fits the screen, and I couldn't find it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to YouTube it later.
Yeah, yeah. And this one,
So
you set the sequence, and I did a full YouTube video on it actually, how I edit for Tik, because I used to get that, especially early on, that question all the time. People have kind of figured it out now, but I mean, I straight up I stole from Cruz, who at that time was the leader. I mean, and I told her that, and she knows it.
yeah,
You know,
I'll check it
uh,
out.
yeah, and she just had a format that made sense to me, and I viewed a lot of people's formatting, and it's still, I mean, to this day, is the cleanest looking format in my opinion, that's out there for those types of vids. Yeah, it's just something that once you learn it, I mean, that's the crazy thing about it, right? This is all software that, like, when I was growing up, like, you had to take courses to learn how to do this.
Hmm.
Like, you had to take a course to learn how to use Photoshop, and I don't know the inner outs of it. Like, I don't use it every single day, but I've taught myself how to do a lot of different things on it by doing
Yeah.
nothing but just YouTube. Like, we live in a very fun time when it comes to that type of, where your average person can become a elite graphic designer and produce high quality stuff if they just
Yeah.
invest the time to learn.
Hmm.
I I love it. I think it's sweet.
Yeah, that's another reason why when people reach out to me and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I stream for 8 hours a day, and that I make this many TikToks, and they're this long. And right away I tell them like, you should probably like cut your streaming time in half and take that time to go learn how to do things.
Yep.
To improve the quality. And I mean, I tell them a lot too. I'm like, I never stop learning. I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah.
I run into problems all the time that I have to like stop and figure out, okay, how do I make this the way I want, things like that. It really
And
is. It's just a learning game.
how do I continue to evolve and push the envelope and stay fresh and
Hmm.
relevant? Because the content that's being produced at TikTok is at a high level, higher than it's ever been. And so if you're going to stay relevant with it, you have to stay up there and relevant with your formatting, with your message, with your brand identity, and all those things, because that's what your competition is doing. And they're pushing the envelope and they're trying to get better and try to do things. And second someone finds something that works, it spreads like wildfire, like I've been saying, and you got to be on top of it. Okay, that's what's working right now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a dance or a trend, but specifically like these types of videos or this type of content is relating well and hitting home right now.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So how do you feel? I know a lot of people are complaining right now. They think that the creator fund is like hurting their views and stuff. I'm starting to think that it's not. I think that there's just a lot more people on right now and a lot less people watching as much as they were because everything's starting back up.
I agree with you there. I think there's less people engaged because communities have been opening up more. They're not just sitting at home, but
Yeah.
there's more people going back to work, businesses opening back. Yeah, and they're not just sitting at home on TikTok all day. Um, I think there's also a combination of, because of the competition, like it used to be, if you had a viral video, you got a little bit of time to get that thing viral. You know what I mean? Because I post, it's going to pop up on people's For You page. Well, if we assume that there's 10 times as many people registered to the app that there used to be, that's 10 times other opportunities that somebody else is now popping in and taking that viral opportunity away from me because I grew just slower than they did, and the algorithm's going to promote them versus me because of that.
Yeah.
So you mix those two things together, I think you got yourself a very, very complex program, and you got yourself a very, very saturated market. Doesn't mean you can't succeed. Doesn't mean it's still not the most direct ability to market,
Right.
but it's way more competitive.
Yeah. Got to work harder.
You do. And that was one thing I identified early on with the Twitch streaming as well. Thankfully, I haven't really seen it. I saw a dip there for a little bit a few months ago, but I knew that there's going to be this opportunity for, not opportunity, but the situation where people go back to work, and are they still going to tune into streams?
Yeah.
That was a fear of mine that, hey, our viewers are going to go, like, at that time, let's say 20 viewers per stream down to 12 because it just,
Yeah.
you know, people went back and it dropped. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. We continue to grow, but I'm still waiting on it.
Yeah. So I have an interesting theory. I want to say a little over a month ago, I started posting stuff about G Fuel because
Mhm.
they sent me I ordered like 200 packets of G Fuel, right? To give away, and I said in like the little survey at the end, hey, this is to give away, like here's my Twitch and stuff like that. They sent me 600 packets.
Jeez.
So I made some TikToks about it.
The G Fuel reviews?
Well, I started doing just the reviews now, but I was doing giveaways on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they liked it because people started to argue in the comments about whose comment, had the most likes, and people started reporting each other's comments to get them removed so that they didn't win. And then my views I hit a wall like a couple days after that. And then as soon as I distanced myself away from that, everything kind of went back to normal.
Yeah, I got shadow banned once, and it was copyright. I used music in my editor in Premiere Pro and brought it over. And normally I try to tag it, but I've even noticed now my stuff is flagged. I posted a video the other day that was I used part of a song, but actually used the actual song on TikTok, and so it was like correlated. But I dropped the audio down, and it muted me within seconds.
Really?
And I was like, they got me. They know if I
Yeah.
post something and there's music on the video that I'm posting, and then I take a video and move it down to 0, like it's recognized to say, all right, this guy's just trying to cover up his audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was shadow banned for, I don't know, probably 4 days. I posted something and it got nowhere near any views.
Yeah. So what do you mean by shadow banned? Because the way that it was explained to me is you go over to your analytics, and if it says like 0% for you page, then you're shadow banned.
That's it.
So I
Yeah,
don't.
it's the TikTok algorithm is not going to distribute your content. It's
Yeah.
going to limit your views. So what happens is it goes to some of your followers, but even your follower base is also algorithm based. Like you could
Yeah.
have 65,000 followers, but how many of those people are actually interacting with your videos? I had a moment the other day where I was going through my list and a name popped up and I was like, is that person even still creating content? Like I follow this person, but I never
Yeah.
see their content. Click on them, and sure enough, they're creating content every single day. I just haven't been seeing it. Even though I go through my following page way more than my For You page. So I was like, that's weird that like I haven't seen any of this. Sure enough, the second that I watch a couple videos, their stuff starts popping up. So it's like it recognizes who you're actually paying attention to.
Yeah.
So you might have this giant client base, but if those people aren't consistently watching your videos, even though they dropped you a follow, like that video that got shadow banned or that video afterwards until they release the shadow ban is not going to get any views. It's not going to go to the For You page. It's not going to run up on everybody who follows
Yeah.
you. It's going to be that very small community, that portion of your community that is interacting with you and engaging with you. And anytime you post, you're popping up on their following page regardless. But there's no discoverability to it. And they do it to protect themselves. They'll flip it
Right.
on when there's copyright issues, when somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing. They'll do it a lot when a video has been taken down for company or community guidelines, but you still have it up. So like if something gets taken down for community guidelines because you did, and I had one of those happen too. I didn't realize it. I was just showing like myself barbecuing out front, and I poured a beer, which isn't an issue, but then I lit a cigar, not even in my mouth. Apparently, TikTok has a no tobacco policy.
Really?
You can't show any tobacco according to their community guidelines.
Did not know
Um,
that.
I didn't know that. I found out the hard way.
That's yeah.
But the second that they flag you and they take down your video for community guidelines, it pops up. It's still on your profile as community
Yeah.
guidelines. As long as that's active, they're going to shadow ban you because they want that out. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want any remnants of it.
So how did you realize it was the tobacco? Did you dispute it and they told you, or?
They do a good job actually talking about it. So it said, hit for community guidelines. They gave me the time mark of when it was within the video. And then they even marked within the community guidelines the section of the community guide. And I had to go look at the community because it was like, section 5A, Roman numeral 7. You got to go find it. But sure enough, yeah, it talks about the things you can and can't do. And you can't do like excessive drinking, can't do drugs, obviously. You know, they talk about no nudity, no sexual acts.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, sure enough, no tobacco use, apparently.
Huh. Yeah, it's interesting because some of the videos that I've had pop up, I'm like, how is that not taken down?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes there's. I think some areas are grayer than others. You know,
Yeah.
something especially like I think they know, especially like the sexually explicit stuff.
Yeah.
As long as there's no nudity, like I think they're pretty lenient on that because they know it drives viewership.
Uh-huh.
However, there are things like, yeah, I mean, drinking, smoking, or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, that if the video is not a viral video, like it's not being seen by many people, it's less likely to be scanned by something. But I don't know. Again, I wasn't even blowing smoke. I literally lit the cigar on the camera, and that was it. They didn't like it.
Mm. Yeah, like I
Sure.
saw a video the other day where somebody walked into a store, grabbed a bottle of Listerine off the shelf, and drank the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? That's
People are nuts.
viral.
I used to work at Caribou Coffee, which is basically like it's a local coffee shop here in Minneapolis. It's in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas. I think the company's known as Pete's Coffee, I think, in a lot of other places, especially
Yeah, I know
on the
Pete's
East Coast.
Coffee.
Okay. Well, I worked there when I was in college, and we used to have issues where, sure enough, you'd have people who came in and just literally, because I used to do the night shift, we would be cleaning out the trash bins in the bathrooms, and you'd find empty Listerine bottles because we were right next to a grocery store.
Yeah.
So people are such, alcoholics that they want the alcohol that's in the Listerine, and they'll go buy it. It's like, that's a whole other level of dependency that I'm not ready for. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, no, it was like somebody had dared him to do it in one of the comments, so he replied and just went and did it.
It's still crazy though that people just do it.
Yeah. Well, my question was like, the video ends after that. How do you know he paid for it? You know?
Yeah.
Did he steal?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. It's just interesting to me, some of the stuff that pops up. Like, there's definitely gray areas, you know?
There's going to be more than ever before as they continue to grow. And realistically, people will, and they've proven this through time, do anything to chase fame. Anything to chase fame. And the further out that gray line gets of what's acceptable, the more you're going to see that kind of ridiculous content because it got me 10,000 views. Yeah. Got me 1 million views. It's nuts. But how have you, so let me talk about this because this is interesting to me. So how often are you posting on like YouTube right now?
On YouTube, I try to post at least like 3 times a week.
See, but I wish I was doing. I'm like once a week at that.
It sucks though, because like I will literally like sit down. I'm like, all right, I'm done for the night. My girlfriend's like, are you going to bed soon? I'm like, yeah. And then I go, oh shit, like I haven't posted anything on YouTube in 4 days. I'm like, babe, I gotta make a highlight real quick. And that's literally, you gotta stay relevant. I know that if you don't post for a week, then they stop recommending your videos on YouTube. So that's the bottom line, is like at least get 1 out a week. But I did post my first I posted the highlights from the COD reveal. That's been one of my better videos. It's still getting like a decent amount of views. So
yeah, I got to be doing way more of that type of stuff. All of my videos pretty much are pretty big projects that I take on.
Yeah.
I think I just got to be doing smaller ones. I'll do monthly stream highlights. So I'll be like the month of June. And realistically, all it is it's the 1080 TikTok clip. So when I take the Twitch clip, and I told you I reformat it, I save it as a 1080. So basically I go back and I say, okay, over the last month, what were my best TikToks? And I already have those clips cut. And so then I just got to cut it into a YouTube video.
That's smart.
But the problem is again, those are coming out once a month. Yeah, I got to do more, especially the original content. And I got a laundry list of things that I know I want to do. It's just every time I think about doing it and the editing specifically, I'm immediately like, I don't want it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I definitely have to be in the right mood. There's been a few times where I sit down. I'm still working on I got my girlfriend played Fall Guys with me. On a Saturday. So I started working on that video and I still haven't finished it because it was like 2 hours of footage I had to go through, And then, you make one pass through it, but then you still have like a half hour. So you're like, all right, now I got to cut this down to like, 10 to 20, because if it's
Get
too
ready.
long, people don't watch the whole thing. So
That's the stream issue. So I've now gotten to the point where I really try to force myself to edit the stream the same day I do it. So if I get off at midnight, I'm trying to I download it immediately and try to edit it, and I'll be up till 2 a.m. getting the clip because it's still fresh in my mind.
yeah,
Because if it's not, what I end up having to do is going through these 4.5, 5, 6 hour streams, looking and trying to remind myself what are the clips that are actually worthy here.
yeah,
And it does. It takes me an hour to go through a 4 hour stream because you're going at a rate that like I don't miss anything that I'm looking at as I'm watching the preview, but at the same time, like I'm having to remind myself like what's valuable here. And I could do it way faster if I just got off the stream because I'm like, oh crap, that play was awesome. Or we were dying laughing at that joke, you know?
yeah. I've definitely started it when something happens crazy in the game, like, hey, somebody clip that, like I
Yeah.
started to do that more because it does help, because I don't always remember to go back and find it. I definitely think once I get a bigger place and have that separate room, I told my girlfriend, I was like, just wait, when that happens, there's gonna be nights where I might like go till like 4 in the morning, because once I start going, I can't stop.
If it was my full-time job, I'd be grinding at it. And that's actually part of what I had to force myself to do. Because at one point I had my graphic design computer is at my office.
Yeah,
And what I was doing was working and then kind of like editing either after the work, just while I'm still there. But I found myself like going through gameplay and like editing while I'm on the phone with like a client or something. I was like, I can't be doing this. There can't be this meld. So I had to bring that back. But yeah, I mean, there's just only so many hours in the day that you can piece it all together and work on it. And to your point, there's just so many projects that I have that I know I need to get done. I mean, right now we've been doing merch for 60 days now, trying to figure that out. And my graphic designer's waiting on me, or my printer. He's like, we got to get designs. And it's like, I got to sit down and do the designs. I already know what I want,
yeah,
but I actually have to go through and do it, and just
yeah.
haven't done it.
Well, I mean, so for me, the first 5,000 followers on Twitch that I got, I had no clue because I was so new at the time, or at least I didn't focus as much on it.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear me. My mic was so good. This mic's a piece of crap, by the way. I'm waiting on a buddy of mine upgraded his mic, and he was kind enough. He was on the podcast. He's like, I'm gonna send you my old one. So, but with hurricane season and COVID, he's like, yeah, they closed the post office, so he's waiting to send it to me. But yeah. So the mic was really bad for like the first, I don't know, month that I was streaming to people. So it's little things like that. I don't have animated overlays yet, and I really want, like, because all my stuff's Dorito themed. So I'm like, I really just need to go on like Fiverr and tell them, hey, I want this Dorito themed. I need like a nice logo and stuff. It really is all just priorities, trying to figure out what's most important at the time.
Well, and I was blessed. I did all that stuff for myself early on.
Yeah.
Back when it wasn't as big of a priority. I invested the time to design my logo, and I built my overlays. I did all of that stuff myself, my stinger transitions, and I used, After Effects or Premiere Pro for all of it. Because I was literally just thinking about this. Like, I'd love to upgrade my intro video, but it's like, it just falls right on the list of everything else that I need to get done now, because we're in a different place. I have less time.
Yeah, I think I really do need to sit down, make a list, and then figure out, all right, what's like the most important thing. And right now I'm thinking I need overlays, I need a logo, stuff like that. I got the mic coming. Eventually I want to upgrade my camera, get a nice one, because the webcam's nice and everything, but
You want to go DSLR?
probably, yeah.
And that's a big cost jump. Obviously, a huge quality jump, but you're right.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay. It's not, you can't count on how much you're making to be there next month. You know what I mean? Things change. Anything can happen. So trying to decide, okay, what is important enough to spend the money and invest, but not, all of a sudden now you're not making anything and you regret buying that expensive camera,
Yeah, it's pretty. It's fun, man. It's very entrepreneurial in the whole sense. And we've been upgrading slowly. I mean, as things have come through, again, the PC was the big thing. We had a local vendor who helped out with some of the costs on it and gave me
Yeah.
some at cost on a couple things. But all in all, yeah, you're right, to the point where it's like, all right, when money starts coming in, you start thinking about, okay, what can I be upgrading to make this better? But you're also like, money's coming in. Like, I need to
Yeah.
pay attention to that. The other part that people don't think about, and we are doing this now, is again, going back to running your business like a business. One of the first things that I did when we really started taking off was teamed up with a legal team to form an entity. And so I literally got texted today from my lawyer saying that the LLC of BadBearGamer was just created.
I need to
And
do that.
the people don't think about it, right? But at
Yeah.
the end of the year, you're going to get a 1099 for all the income that you earned. And they're not withholding taxes. So that's money you're going to owe the IRS as income earned at your current tax rate or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have and you can't write things off if you don't have a business. You can't just say I own
Right.
business and
Yeah.
these
Business expenses. Yeah. You
yeah.
can't do that.
So you need to form an actual entity so that you can hold those receipts and charge, because like this PC build is going to be a business expense. Now it's a piece of required property for our business. And I have to look into even further, like, where does that line get drawn, as far as, because I'm curious if like even subscribing to people can be written off against that income.
Right.
Right. If I subscribe to other people as a form of networking, right? Is that subscription, can that be deducted against? I don't know. I got to figure that out. I got to talk to a tax accountant now, which I thankfully, because I'm in finance, I know a bunch. But there's so much complexity to the whole thing when you start thinking about it and piecing it all together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 24. I just got out of the military. I don't know anything about this stuff. So,
yeah,
I
learn it as you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to jump on that too. There's just, I feel like the list just keeps going on and on. But
I mean, and then you start thinking about like the next step for me after that, which I also was just talking to my lawyer about, is trademarking, right? Because you don't own your brand until you own it. And for a lot of people, if they haven't gone through that process, it's so easy for somebody to step in and to beat them to the point. And if they're legally set up before you're legally set up, doesn't matter if you've been doing it and building a brand, like, they own it and they could sue you and take it. And that's shitty, but that happens to musical artists and entertainers all the time. Is, they use something that they shouldn't have used, or somebody else had something copyrighted, and you just want to make sure that you're as protected as possible when it comes to that. And then at the end of the year, when you get your income, obviously be prepared for the tax element. But then number two is trying to maximize as many deductions. I mean, now my entire basement just became a home office. Hooray. And the monitors, the setup, everything is a deduction because it's part of the business. It's a business expense.
Yeah, I might have to reach out to you to ask some questions, if you don't mind, about stuff like that.
I can walk you through it for sure. I can tell you what I did and how I set it up too. And it really wasn't that bad, especially if you go the legal route and have somebody else do it, because they did, he created the documents, filed with the state, got the approvals, got the light, and then he literally, I got an email while we're on this right now. I'm pretty sure that that's the actual finalized document stamped by the state of Minnesota.
Okay, so you're in Minnesota? Yeah. I'm in California.
Hey.
So, that's part of the reason why we're in like a smaller apartment, It's pricey out here for rent, but
yeah, I get it. I lived in Vegas for about 5 years, and so we used to come to California pretty often. It's a fun place, but I could not. The cost of living is something else.
Yeah, thankfully I did save up before I got out, so
that helps.
I'm all right. If I hadn't, I think it would have been pretty sketchy. So,
and I got friends who live out there. And they're telling me they pay $2,500 a month for a little tiny apartment, and it's like, you go to a normal city, like even a normal metropolitan area, like that's gonna get you a nice place. You're gonna get a nice 2-bedroom, 1,400 square feet. Like, you're gonna get some decent square, but out there you get a hole in the wall and a a closet. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was stationed in San Francisco, and that was ridiculous.
Oh no.
Some of the properties out there, like crack
So
houses for sale for like 750,000.
such a gorgeous city. So fun to visit. Cost of living there is outrageous. People think
Yeah,
LA is bad. It's the
yeah, no,
worst.
yeah, yeah.
Great city though.
I hated it, to be honest. I
Really?
was not a
Oh, okay.
fan. No, I mean everybody's like, oh, the Golden Gate Bridge. My job was to go look for bridge jumpers, so I didn't care too much for
That's
that
fair.
bridge. You know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean it's relative, but
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
just hated how crowded it
I,
was.
I love the food scene. That's my thing. I'm a big foodie. I know everyone says they're a foodie these days, but like I'm really big into like quality of food and like the cooking process and like Michelin star restaurants and um obviously San Fran has some very very great high end places.
Yeah, dude.
Um, would love to go back.
But yeah,
But
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say what else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I figured, if we talked for like an hour and a half about TikTok and Twitch, should probably get to know each other.
Sure.
Because that's one thing. Because I get a lot of people asking to collab, and I tried collabing with a few people without really like getting to know them, and it didn't go very well. So this is one of the ways that I think it's to form relationships,
Mhm.
so that if we did decide to play video games together, we have an idea of who the other person is. We don't have to like sit and be like, so where are you from? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I tell people all the time that's one of the challenges with playing with followers or playing with subscribers. It's a whole other level of complexity because I have to focus on top of everything we mentioned earlier about having to focus and multitask on the chat, on the stream quality, on the video, what's going on in front of you as you play, what you're saying, how you're reacting. If I don't know who I'm playing with, I now have to be mindful. That's a whole other thing that I got to think about. Okay, who is this person? How are they communicating? And even if you're playing a competitive game, like obviously we play a lot of Call of Duty, um, how are they? What's their play style? Like, what are they doing? And how are they moving? And
yeah,
where are they going? What do they have? And when I play with my regular, we call them my OGs, like people I've been playing with forever. I don't have, I know them. I know their play
yeah,
style. I know when that loadout comes. I know what they're picking up. I know what they're using.
yeah,
I know their sense of humor. I know where they're from. I've been to their wedding. Like, whatever it is,
yeah.
we've been there.
It's just a different level.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
So there is a big challenge there, and that's why collabing it's been tough when I go down. What I mean by that is when I collab with people who are lower than me, it's tough because a lot of times some people have been great. They understand it. They
yeah,
know it. They bring the energy. But some people think it's just playing video games, and so they come in and they're literally they don't really talk or their mic is all messed up and it's like there's an issue here. It's like, all right, you're now damaging the quality of my
yeah,
output. But whenever I go up, like in viewers or people who are bigger than me, I never have that issue. And
yeah,
a lot of times those meetings are very, very fluid because they know they're bringing a certain level of energy and interaction. I'm bringing a certain level of energy and interaction. It's like, we'll figure out the rest as we go. But
yeah,
you're right, man. It's tough to just pick it up and jump in with somebody you've never played with before
yeah.
because you do want to get to know them. So walk me through the Dorito thing. Where did this pop up? And I love Doritos.
Yeah. So I honestly just had a buddy joke around. I was trying to come up with like a good name to stream, and we were watching like It's Always Sunny or something, and I joked around about Danny DeVito, and I had seen some Danny Dorito like meme or something.
Yeah.
So I bring it up, and I just went with it, and yeah.
I like it, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it's I think people it catches their eye a little bit,
It does. How
Yeah.
often do you have the bag on your head?
Whenever they redeem it, or I use it in TikTok sometimes, but there's people that come in and they're like, put the bag on.
How long's the redeem for?
I had to start limiting it for an hour.
Yeah.
So
So we have a very complex, in our stream, we have a very complex economy system where with reward points, like very complex. I put hours into that. And the chat loves it. That was one reason why I think people want to stick around is because there is so much interaction. And I'm going to keep adding some things like being able to change the color behind me, like the RPG bulb. But we had, when I first started getting started, I had like a shot command, which was I'll take a shot.
Yeah.
We had to limit that to just Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays now because
Yeah.
they were coming after it. But when I first did it, I didn't think about it. I just put it up there, and people were just redeeming it left and right. And I was like, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
So now I have it on a timer, thankfully. But they'll come in, yeah, and like we do Thirsty Thursdays, which is a stream I haven't missed since I started. Every single Thursday, like clockwork. And we're having cocktails and drinking, and some nights it's chill. It's like, hey, I'm just having some wine and chilling. And other nights, it's the other night, I wish I still had it. I showed up with a jug. Literally, it was like this big. It was almost like a growler you get from like coffee shop, and I'd filled it up with coffee, vodka, Kahlua, Bailey's. It was a delicious cocktail I made inside of it, but it was like 64 ounces of it. And then there's nights like that, and yeah, it's fun, but yeah, they used to like track that stuff. Like, all right, we redeemed this at 9:33. Next one's available at 10:03. Track it.
That's funny.
It's nuts. But yeah, I love. The first time I saw the bag, I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But I like it, man. I like it. And then, so what's your favorite Doritos flavor then?
Tapatio. I really like the Tapatio ones, actually.
I don't know if I've had the Tapatio. So what color is our bag?
Oh, it's red with the big like logo on it, the bottle logo.
Yeah. But it's. I don't think I've seen it.
They taste like Tapatio. Yeah.
Is it a California thing?
No, I've had it all over. I've been stationed all over, and I've always found them. I honestly think there's like a shortage right now on Doritos. I can't find all the flavors I normally can.
My favorite Doritos flavor is the purple sweet chili.
Those are up there too, yeah.
That's my 101.
Yeah.
My wife loves Cool Ranch. It's one of my least favorites.
So Cool Ranch.
I don't understand.
One of my viewers ruined that for me because they commented and were like, make a Dorito smoothie, and that was the only flavor I had in the apartment. No. So I made a Cool Ranch one, and like that's all I think of when I taste them now.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm not a huge fan of the overall. No, it's really weird. Maybe it's the dill. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I love the spicy. There's been just so many freaking flavors.
So that's a big argument. Everybody's like, "Oh, spicy nacho."
It's not spicy.
There's no spice.
There's none.
Yeah, like the first time I had them in a while, I didn't know that they were spicy nacho. I thought they were like stale, regular Doritos because there's less cheese on them.
Yeah, they're I mean, but they got to play that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't make a super hot chip because Karen in Iowa is going to get real mad at you.
Yeah. It's just funny though.
Yeah, it is. Well, especially for people who actually understand spice levels. Like again, in Minnesota, so many people just haven't done that. They don't know what spice is. They haven't traveled. They haven't tasted food. And there's certain foods here. I literally was having this conversation yesterday that people think is so good. Like you haven't tried elsewhere. Like pizza's the example that we talked about, where pizza in the state of Minnesota, like people name their best pizza places. Like it's good, but it's not like, again, when I lived in Vegas, there's full on competitive like pizza places because there's such a food scene. You go out to New York, East Coast food scene, pizza.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
No. And it's like, that is a different level than like what we find here. And it's just, it's so amazing. And spice is another one that people in Minnesota just don't know spice. They don't understand it. And because especially the people who try to use it, they use it wrong, where they put it in almost like as a novelty. And it's like, it overpowers what's going on because they want it to be just the spiciest thing in the world. And it's like, it can really enhance an overall food profile, but it has to be done right. But the Doritos are just a joke. But that's kind of anything. Like you go get like the jalapeno flavored stuff. Like it's not really spicy. It's just there.
Yeah.
It exists.
Jalapeno is more of the flavor than like the spice. Yeah, no, it's funny because somebody was like, how dare you, spicy nachos the best? And I'm like, you need to try Blaze. It's not like, Blaze is the hottest Dorito if you ask me.
Is that the blue bag?
I think it's like a purplish blue, yeah. I think it's But I
I don't think
tried that one and I was like, whew, okay. They're not messing around there.
we came out. They came out with it. They're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's I love Doritos. Doritos are
Yeah. Well, the other thing was I was like, if I ever do, kind of make it big someday, like Doritos and Mountain Dew, they're kind of like the gaming snack, So
well, you've seen my push, right? So on my Twitch
Taco
profile,
Bell,
day
right?
one, that's it,
Yeah.
man. We're waiting. That's who I'm waiting on. And I'm gonna about once a month, we're gonna bombard them. And when we do it, they get tagged in, I don't know, 100 different comments. But yeah, it's to me it was just it started out as a comedy thing of just like I posted on Twitch when I first got started, like literally in my bio. My bio stayed the exact same. It's the only purpose of this Twitch is to get sponsored by Taco Bell. That's my bio page. And then it became a full on mission as we continued to grow to be like, all right, this is now a reality that we should be able to stir up eventually some form of response from these people. Even if that response is no, like we're fighting it. We're coming.
Yeah.
Because I just think that'd be so hysterical if that's what because you got all these people, especially bigger streamers, that are sponsored by Logitech and
Yeah.
Acer and HyperX, and I want to be doing giveaways for like Taco Bell gift cards, like you know what I mean. I want to
Yeah,
be.
that's
I want
funny.
to be.
Yeah.
I want to pop up on stream with a big old Taco Bell T-shirt and a hat and just sell
Yeah.
out harder than anyone's
Yeah.
ever sold out.
We got it,
before.
baby. You just
Yeah, have their logo just bouncing around like the old like window or the DVD logo. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in on it. So we wait.
Yeah. I respect Taco Bell. I like it. So
We wait for the response.
yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me, like, they're surprised I'm not sponsored by G Fuel because of how many like videos I make about it now and stuff. And then like the ones where I review the flavors, they've been getting somewhere around like 50 to 100,000 views. So
G Fuel's sweet. The problem, G Fuel gets so many requests.
Yeah.
Actually, I reached out to them and they responded, which was sweet. But they were like, to be honest with you, bro, like you have the type of content that if you would have approached us a year ago, we'd be interested. But they're like, we get so many requests now that literally we're hardly looking at anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Just because it's so complex. And I was like, well, I appreciate you at least taking the time. Like it was meaningful that you actually somebody
Yeah.
wrote me back. But yeah, it's those bigger companies. I can only imagine because anybody with any form of clout wants that title, and then
Yeah.
people tote the partnership agreements. It's like that's not the same as like a full on sponsorship.
Right. Yeah.
Where hey, if you use my code, you get 10% off, and
Yeah.
blah blah. But I don't know. It's cool. Again, I guess the sponsorship for the vendor who helped with the computer was sweet. I mean, just being able to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'll do for you. I'm not even looking for you to pay me money. Just kind of take what would be your probably normally store discount and help me with it. And they yeah, sure do that.
Yeah, it's the whole sponsorship type thing or like ad type TikToks. It's starting to happen now. Like I had Lepow. I don't know if that's how you say it. I hope they don't get upset if I say it wrong. It's like they make monitors. So I don't know where I put it. There's a portable monitor that they sent me. They're like $200. They want me to do a TikTok review. I'm just waiting on a stand that they're sending me because I told them that I want to show that I can use it, to like edit my TikToks on because it's bigger. You can be more precise. Yeah. And then I could use it as another monitor for like the chat or something. Or, like me and my girlfriend can watch movies at night on it. We just plug our phone in and it's like a bigger screen, something like that. So that's new. I don't want to say I'm nervous, but it's just like I've never done that before,
Dude, it's a different game. And I've had it happen where vendors are reaching out and sending stuff and wanting to work on different things. And the majority of the time I say no, just because I don't believe in the product. A lot of it's been crap, or startup type things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty crazy. I told them what I would do for them was, once I got this all structured, I told them I'd do a YouTube video and help promote. And then I'm doing a couple of pieces of content for them on their stuff. Hey, that's what I do. It's not necessarily on my stuff. But you're right. I mean, I flipped through my For You page and there's creators on there that You know, or
Yeah.
like, man, my wedding ring is super tough. Oh, but look at my rubber one. It looks super nice.
Yeah. No, I told them right away. I was like, look, I'm gonna be like straight up honest, when I make it and everything. I'm gonna put hashtag ad. I'm somebody who
Mhm.
believes in being pretty transparent. So they're like, yeah, absolutely, we love that. So we'll see how it goes, because I'll be honest, I'm not anywhere near the point where I can be like, all right, I know that if I make a TikTok this way, then it's gonna do at least this well. It's kind of sometimes like a shot in the dark
Yeah.
for me. So it'll be interesting to
And
see what happens.
you can make sweet stuff and then people just don't care. And then you make
Yeah,
the stupidest video ever and it goes viral and you're like, there's no difference.
yeah,
There's literally no difference in the two products I just created. In fact, I absolutely hated one,
yeah.
but for whatever reason, it blew up.
Um, so there's been a lot of people asking me lately, especially since I just applied. They're like, "What? Like, what's the big deal about partner? Like, what do you get?" And for me, it's like, to me, that's sponsorship
Notoriety.
opportunities,
That's
stuff
it.
like that. Yeah.
It's
Uh,
the second you say that you're a partner, it shows a different level. And this is what I learned after I hit it, and I try to urge people against it. Um, Trying to use that same term with affiliate to people that know it don't care. Like
right.
affiliate, whatever, especially to people
Yeah.
who are growing. Not to say that you didn't work hard to get it, not to say that it shouldn't mean something to you, but you don't want to be posting on like your bio page like Twitch affiliate
Right.
versus you get partnership, like that's a different deal. That's full on. So yeah, walk me through your excitement for it. What do you want to do with it when you get it?
The
Part-
monitor? Oh,
yeah,
partner. I mean, honestly, to me, a big thing is just the idea that I could email somebody at Twitch and actually, I have like somebody who actually respond to me from Twitch. That's a big deal to me, because there's questions where I'm like, I don't know if I can. Like, I reacted to like the new Batman trailer, right, on
yeah,
stream,
whether
and
you
I
can
was like,
actually show it.
I don't know if I could post that on. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much I could post that. It's one thing if it's a part of the stream. We watch it, talk about it. It's no big deal. But if I post a video and it's like just about that, is that okay? Because Twitch is not necessarily the place to go watch movie trailers.
No, I agree.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think there's a lot of I had somebody try to tell me that like there's this big monetary, and there really isn't. The monetary splits and all that are pretty much the exact
yeah,
same. You get more, it's more the recognition
hmm
and the it's almost like a verification. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That it's like, hey, I do this. This is what I do.
Well,
It's a
I tell
very
people. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a tough group to get in.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, you got to put into perspective. When I started streaming, and like the first time I checked Social Blade, because my stats were actually like enough to show up on there, because at first it just doesn't even like track you. Um, when it said that I was like 8 millionth on Twitch, it was like, damn, that's a lot of people. And now it says like 24,000. I'm like, dude, like there's only so many partners. It's just a whole different, like, that is a tough thing to earn, and I
It
respect
is.
it so much more now that I've gone down as far on this road that I have.
Yeah,
It's a
I
grind.
mean, 75 viewers is a tough number,
Yeah,
and it's even harder because it's over that range. It's not a one-time peak. It's not like, hey, we did one stream and it was rock solid, and now that pushed me. Oh, it's no, like you got to do that for a month. And when you're truly streaming and content creating, and you're plugging in as many hours as you are, like to average over that is nuts. We've been tracking ours. Ours continues to go up. Um, Here, let me see where we're at right now. I think we're like the last stream we did was like 50. Insights, stream summary. Average viewers 54 on my last one for 5 hours and 27. And then if I go back though, I don't know, let's say a month, or it doesn't go a month. Oh yeah, here we go. July 22nd is 25.
yeah,
You know, so and that was up over the stream of Fed of it. So what, we doubled in a month? Like it's a grind, and that's including the growth that has happened on TikTok. Like the people who did this before TikTok was created and were literally just grinding out, clawing for every viewer they could possibly get. Like, there's so much respect to the people who are doing that.
So
To be honest with you, you're pissed at how easy it is sometimes
yeah,
right now for the right of entry.
I've talked to one of my buddies, Corpy. I had him on the podcast. He said that he had friends that he when he started streaming, he had like his little group of streamer friends that helped him like kind of get into it. They aren't friends with like some of them aren't friends with him anymore because they think he cheated. Like it's like they spent 5 years streaming and got nowhere, you know. And then for Corpy to post a TikTok and all of a sudden, you know, he's got 25 people watching every stream. They were just like, don't tell me like how to do things, you know, like it just, you could see they were frustrated, you know.
And I get it. I mean, it's real. But in the same breath, it's like those same people. I was talking to Cruz about it because Cruz obviously it jumped her from a mid-level. So she was streaming probably about 3.5, 4 years before TikTok came along.
Yeah.
So she had put in her time. But it drove her from like 500 follower or 500 viewers per stream up to like where she's at now, like 2,000.
Right. Pretty big jump.
Yeah, really big
Yeah.
jump. And now she's starting to get noticed by the tippy top people, right? And she's saying that the frustrating part about it is like in one breath, to your point, they want to argue, that it's a fake way to gain followers, blah, blah, blah. But then in the next breath, they're like, can you help me with mine? Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it's like, it's so too like everybody, you're pissed at the growth, but everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Like if they could have gotten it, if they would have made that bet and said, hey, I should have been posting content, 2 years ago on this app, like where the hell would I have been?
Yeah. I had a guy comment, I don't know, it's like a month ago or something. I remember little things like this. This guy commented and was like, the only reason why you have as many people watching as you do on Twitch is because of your girlfriend. You didn't do this. Your girlfriend did this. Yuck. Because it was a video where she came in and asked a question that somebody had asked. Because that's what she likes to do. She likes to like find something,
Yeah. Yeah, she'll pop in and hey Danny, so wondering what your stream stats.
But yes, and so I responded. And I was like, "Look, man, like you got to look at my videos. She's like maybe in a quarter of them. There's a lot more work than you think." And I was like, if you want to know how I did it, like here's this YouTube video I made, how to make affiliate. It goes over, and then here's how to get more engagement on TikTok that I made. And the guy was like, you know what? I'm sorry, I just said that out of jealousy. I'm gonna check him out. And then he messaged me a couple days ago and was like, dude, you helped me a lot. Like I made affiliate the other day and this and that. And I'm just like, awesome, dude.
That's the best. I literally yesterday had somebody message me, same type of thing that like, and he started right when I started and we talked at the same time. I checked his name popped up for me. He commented on something maybe like 2 weeks ago and I pulled it up and he had like 150 followers. And I know he's been pumping out content.
Yeah.
But he messaged me yesterday and was like, man, I don't know if you saw it, but like one video finally went viral and I pulled it up and like his latest videos are like 5,000 views, 6,000 views. And he had one that was like 350. So it's that adrenaline bump that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But now he's got 5,500 and like, sometimes you just need that jump, but the jealousy is real, man. And I'm not going to say that I haven't hit it either. I had a female reach out to me and she basically was like, hey, I'm really wanting to do this. Like, can you help me? Can you give me some advice on how to do this? I was like, yeah, but it's more than I'm probably gonna be able to text. So let's hop on Discord. We hopped on Discord for like an hour and just talked about her stream and talked about branding and marketing and what I would be doing as a female and what you need to be paying attention to and knowing that, hey, you're gonna get more hate, you're gonna get more negativity, but just understand that for every person who comments, must be so easy to be your girl. Like, that's a comment that's boosting your video. And you don't have to battle all of them. You just have to know they exist. And I walked her through kind of this whole thing. We literally talked for about 90 minutes, hung up. And within about 2 weeks, she had blown by me on all my numbers. And it's like, part of that's just like, I want to sit back and just, like that sucks that you took somebody who literally was doing nothing, kind of helped them piece it together in a way. And they took off in such an awesome way. But you also have to view it from the other side, which is, even to this day, like she is so appreciative of what that was. And she still messages me like, like, holy, I can't believe like we're here and blah, blah, blah. Like she's so appreciative of what that was. And that somebody at that time invested in her and that loyalty and that brand loyalty is just still so honest and true. But the jealousy is real, man. It's tough to see other people succeed, and especially if you feel like you're doing the right things.
Yeah. I get so I don't know how you feel about it, but well, I mean, the saying, but the way that people they're like, I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna just quit, like this and that. You know, like they're trying to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to straight up be like, I need help. You know.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I always tell them is like you have to look when it gets hard. The way that I look at it, when I get stuck, somebody else gave up in that situation. Don't give up. Don't be like them. That's what success is to me, you know, is pushing through those barriers when people get stuck and give up, you know.
They're always going to exist at any
Yeah.
level. There's
Yeah.
roadblocks and plateaus and things that are going to happen, and sometimes you got to take one step back to take two steps forward, and just reposition and rebrand or do whatever it is that you got to say, hey, this is going to help me kind of continue to move. But I agree with you. I mean, I get it too. Like, I was blessed to have success, and early on, like, we didn't have the overnight. It's been slow to, we talked about this earlier, the slow and steady. um but it's happening, and it's happening at a very, very healthy rate. Not everybody is having that, and so you feel
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm doing this and doing all the right things, and not seeing that can become really challenging to see. And I get that the grind is there. The best thing I always recommend for people when you don't have viewers is to play with people. Is because, like, when we first got started, I played with, again, the same guys I've always played with, and our interactions are so entertaining that the gameplay might be terrible, but like, we're having fun doing it, and that's
Yeah.
all a viewer wants to see, is that you're having fun and you're enjoying it,
Right.
and they're a part of that. Um, and if you don't have people, because then the response I get is, "Well, I don't have anyone to play with." It's like, well, go find people. It's really not that tough to, especially if you're part of the gaming communities, like, reach out to people or join discords or find other streamers. Like, in our discord, we have like a connect and play, which is specifically designed for people to, post their codes and their IDs and be able to team up with each other
Yeah.
and to build relationships with other people within that community.
Yeah.
But you need that.
I made those two. I want to like redo them because I've definitely learned a lot since I made those two videos. I made the one how to make affiliate, and then I made one how to get more engagement on TikTok. And so whenever anybody asks a question like that, like, how do I do this? That's where I direct them. But I do still get some of the people that are like, hey, I watched the video, I don't understand. And it's like, okay, like, how do I go about this? Because it's one thing to like steer somebody in the right direction, and then, like you said, pretty much give somebody the answers. And then yeah, it sucks if you help somebody out like that, and all of a sudden it's like they pass you. And yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna say that I didn't put in a lot of work. I did. I fucking earned where I'm at. It.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was so afraid when I figured out the form. Nobody sat down and showed me how to format and edit the TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, for the longest time, I didn't tell anybody, and then eventually, I was like, I'm gonna gain. I gain more by being transparent than I do just trying to be
Yeah.
secret. And to that point, like, and again, the female I mentioned earlier is a great example. Like, I didn't want to say it this way, but I'll say it this way now. Like, she still views me as the higher producing content creator, even though she's got more followers now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like that loyalty. And not everybody is as genuine. That's a good person who understood what you just did for them. Not everyone's that way. Some people are
Yeah.
just jerks, and they're going to take it and use it and abuse it and leave. Um, but you gain more by being open and transparent, and like, hey, I'm here to help people. And I've started doing more of those TikToks and videos of just like, hey, this is what I do. And that's why I made a full video of how I edit for TikTok, so that people could learn, and hopefully they get better. Because, hey, listen, if I can help someone else succeed, majority of people remember that. And that's now a relationship that they look at me and say, hey, yeah, this person helped me along this way. And if anyone ever blows up, like, blows up, like, that'd be a sweet connection to have.
Yeah, I think Harris Heller is a really good example of somebody who goes out of their way to help people
Huge.
learn, you know?
He's as transparent as possible. I mean, again, the video I mentioned earlier where he literally broke down his funds. He said, "This is how much money I make."
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. I'm gonna have to go find it.
Oh, yeah, it's one of my favorite videos because I've always been so curious about where the revenue comes from and like what
Yeah,
he pulls up his Twitch and showing this is how much money I'm making. Um, and like he goes on to explain that like you don't make a ton of money off of your like ad revenue. Like your ad
right,
revenue is
yeah,
crap. Where you're making your money is this, and then he goes through and he talks about his YouTube analytics and how much he's making off YouTube. And he goes through his sponsorship deals and how much is he getting per post with his sponsorship and how that varies. But
yeah,
uh yeah, I think the transparency gains a more honest following than the person who figured it out and just kind of sits still. Um because someone's going to figure, there's not anything that people can't. I mean, a great example is like I figured out how to do the formatting. Well, I taught myself, but I figured it out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And someone else can. There's going to be other people who figure it out. The question is, who's the first one to market to be the one who's being transparent and the
yeah,
first one to market? You don't want to be the third one to be transparent
right. Yeah, no,
because
I get questions about little things. Like on my stream, I found Stream Elements has this little thing to market like your social media things. It like pops up, you know? And so I've gotten a lot of questions about that, and I've been meaning to make like here's how you set it up, because it's super simple, you know?
Mhm.
But it catches people's eye.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, that's the type of stuff that I think people are looking for. I mean, I did a video last night. I had somebody comment asking like, what's my setup?" So I just filmed a short video of like what my setup is and walked through the various elements. The responses are freaking out. The people are this and this, and now what I'm seeing is a lot of people are now curious about like certain elements of that to go further. So I'll probably make a few more videos to answer some of those questions. Like someone's like,
Yeah,
"I don't understand how you play on console but stream through your PC." So like I got to talk about what is a capture card and how does it work and this is how you set it up. This is the one I recommend. But there's very little information out there of somebody talking in a normal tone about this stuff because it is so tech heavy.
yeah,
When you start talking about like computers and GPU and CPU and processors and
yeah. Well, I mean, I got a Stream Deck finally, and somebody asked, like, what does a Stream Deck do? I made, like a 12-second video about, like, yeah, so it allows me to do this, and then I'm planning on using it to make transitions and stuff like that. And I mean, it got like 100,000 views. I'm
geez,
like, it's so simple, you know what I mean? But people
there's just
genuinely want to know how things work.
correct. And there's a lot of people like you were probably like me, where when you had a question, I go to YouTube.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Like specifically when it came to setting up like my Streamlabs. I use Streamlabs OBS. So how to set that up? YouTube. What are the best settings for a microphone? YouTube. How do I create like even when I'm doing my editing, like in After Effects, how do I create this effect in YouTube? Okay, I'm gonna watch them do this step by step, and I'm gonna do it on this monitor and literally mimic them. But not everybody does that, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that just sit quiet and just are like, well, I don't know how to do that. And so if you can show them kind of the same information that's on YouTube and convert that, I think you can gain a huge following that way. Like in all honesty, I literally was having this thought today. I'm going to tell you and whoever else watches this podcast right now, because this is my brilliant idea. I was thinking about going back and literally looking at like Harris's videos and thinking about the topics that Harris hits and how do I fit that into a 30-second TikTok clip. Education. I was like,
Yeah.
the dude has a library of them. I'm not going to steal him doing it, but think about what are his top things? Like, what's the difference between CPU and GPU? Like, why doesn't PC matter? Like, what
Yeah.
is the benefit of streaming off a PC versus streaming off an Xbox? What are some of the best webcams that you can get out there? What are some cheap alternatives? What are ways to get started? Like, what are he has this whole library, and he's not alone. There's a bunch of people that are like that.
Yeah.
But you start making a series of TikToks that are like that. I mean, the same success that that person has had on YouTube, you can easily start copying that over to TikTok, if not even more so, because of what we've been talking about how instant it is.
Yeah.
But the problem is you got to know it first.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like you said, I think a lot of my success has been from like replying to stuff. So yeah, it's a big thing. I
becomes a
feel
rabbit hole too, where
yeah, it
you make a
does.
video about something and then somebody comments another video opportunity where you're like, oh, let me show you this.
Yeah. Uh, well, what was I gonna say? I feel like I don't want to say I'm getting to a point where I can get lazy, but I feel like my Twitch, like as far as like the effort that I've been putting in to get to where I am, I can kind of not dial it back, but like I'm in a spot where it's becoming routine, the stuff that I do, you know. So I want to make the stream look better. Yeah, I want to make it look better and everything, but I think my schedule's decent. Saturdays that's when I do giveaways.
Making sure my dog
But yeah, so Saturdays I do like a G Fuel giveaway every hour, and they get better as they go. Like the final one is like they get like a homemade T-shirt, and you know they get like stickers and stuff. So, but the way that I do it is Stream Elements. I don't know if you've heard, they have a giveaway system where they take watch time and convert it into points, and then you take those points, like mine are Dorito points. So every 10 minutes they get 10 Dorito points. It's 50 points for a ticket into the raffle.
So that's what happens through Streamlabs. I mean, Streamlabs and Stream Elements are literally the identical systems. But yeah, I have a reward points where they gain points off of follows. So when they follow, they get points. When they sub, they get points. When they gift, they get points, donations, and then watch times the general. But yeah, then they can do all this. I'll tell you one thing that they do. I guarantee you, Elements has it as well. Is it's a wheel. So what you can do is like. What I do is every time we get a victory in Warzone, I open up. It's a sub only, so you have to be a subscriber to the channel, but you can buy or put in a raffle ticket. Just one per person, and then it randomizes. It picks one winner out of everybody who contributed a raffle ticket, and then a big old wheel pops up that I pre-created that has rewards on it, and the wheel spins live on stream in the middle of my frickin' stream and lands on something. That person wins it. Now, I don't have, again, my long-term goal is when I get merch and things like that to have bigger things. Right now, it's a lot of like channel points or ability to play with us. But to your point, you could easily have a whole bunch of different rewards and things that you're like, hey, I'm going to send this to you. Yeah. Congratulations. And then it's fun because it's way more interactive than just this person wins. You know, their name pops up. The full-on wheel effect is people fucking love it.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm going to look into it. So for me, the G Fuel packet thing has been pretty easy because I can, you know, they can try like 10 different flavors. You know, I can just throw them into an envelope and send them to them. You know, so that's been I think that's been pretty popular with my audience. They were doing that big like buy one get one free tub sale, or that I don't know if it's over yet, but I ordered like 6 tubs, and it's like, all right, when I hit 25,000 on Twitch, like I want to give away a couple tubs or something, you know. So I'm definitely trying to ramp it up, but it's like we talked about. You gotta budget based off of the income coming in from it, you know, because it's reinvesting back into the content at the end of the day.
And you also want it to be a reward system for people who are there, and that's why like your point system is smart versus just a gimmick, right? A gimmick of I'm giving away this if you drop me a follow. You know, and you attend the stream because you'll get a spike in attendance for one stream because you're giving something away. But
I did try that for a while, and then I had to change it because people are complaining. They're like, people are just here for G Fuel, you know, and they come in and they get it. They're like, I watch the whole stream, you know, every day, and then somebody that you've never heard of comes in and takes it, and I was like, you're right, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. So
that's why the system makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
and to be able to invest it so that somebody literally has to, you know, be there the whole time or have watched a bunch prior or done things interactive with people.
Yeah. I mean, I do occasionally still get somebody like, hey, that's not fair. That guy had like triple the tickets that I did. And it's like, well, that's because that person was here triple the time. And they're like, oh, okay, you're right. I didn't know that I could like earn points every stream. They thought it was just Saturdays that they earned points. So then like they start to catch on. They're like, okay. You know, because there's people who are like quiet, and like I get them into like a game or something, like, so how many Dorito points you got? And they're like, oh, I've been saving them. And I'm like, all right, I see you. They're waiting for like a T-shirt or something, you know.
Well, so we had a couple of runs where people were extremely generous in gifting large amounts of subs to the channel.
Yeah.
And they accrued because of that astronomical amounts of points. And so what we've had to do is start to rethink and reevaluate, because all my stuff was, you know, 1,500 points for this, 75 points to redeem this gift live on stream, whatever. Now I have to start thinking about rewards that are like 50,000 points because these people have those points. So like I started to utilize like the VIP badges that Twitch has, which I'd never looked at before, but the ability to give VIP badges so they get a little VIP that's next to their name.
Yeah.
Ability to buy that, I think was smart. Um,
How many
yeah, I
points
mean,
do you do that for? Because I've been trying to figure out what to price it at.
it's 50 or 75, one of the two. I think it's 50.
Yeah.
I think it's 50,000. But again, it depends on, your economic scale because you have to figure
Yeah.
out, okay, what balance. But even beyond that, like I'm thinking I gotta create something that's epic, that's 100,000. Like
Yeah.
literally having something that's maybe like free merch. By the time someone hits it, it's gonna be up there, but you get the ability that, hey, I'll send you, a full t-shirt. Like if you get to that point, and also that person's already paid for that. You know what I mean? If they did that much gifting or they watched that long, like in one way, shape, or form, that person has earned that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you with your G Fuel, so are you buying it yourself and then just gifting it back out and literally looking at it as an investment back in the business?
Pretty much. So, like I said, I bought. So the way it started was I did a charity stream. I do them like every other month. I did one for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I was like, I'm gonna give away G Fuel. Like it was just something I was like, oh yeah, they keep asking about it, so I ordered some packets, gave them away. That was a hit. But I had reached out to G Fuel and was like, hey, I'm not asking for a sponsorship. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm giving away G Fuel, and I was wondering if you guys would like to, contribute anything to it, whether it's a donation or some G Fuel. And I actually talked to somebody on the phone, and this lady must have been working from home. And I get it. I get it. People working from home, it's different. But I could hear like the TV on in the background, and it sounded like she just wanted to get back to her show. And so she was like, we're not doing sponsorships right now. And I'm like, I'm not asking for a sponsorship. I was trying to explain myself, but she wanted to get off the phone. Yeah, so I was like, all right, I guess, just forget about that one. And then I ordered that G Fuel later, and 600 packets showed up. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't ask for it, it wasn't charity related. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I think
weird.
they want to be. They're way more open. The problem is when it comes to sponsorship, that's funds traditionally.
Yeah.
Like if you're truly sponsored by a company, they're gonna pay you to have their logo on your stuff for you to represent the brand. That type of stuff is product, right? That's inventory. That's stuff that's much easier for them to send out to somebody.
Right.
And the problem is, and this really isn't a problem, you did it the smart way, which is a lot of people would be fine with just the product. You know what I mean? Like that they would be totally fine with the product. They don't need the cash incentive.
Right.
But the company thinks of it as sponsorships and this and that. So you have to think about it the right way and position it the right way and go about talking them the right way so that you can kind of get what you're really wanting, which is, hey, I got twice as much inventory for the same cost, or in your case, 6 times as much inventory.
Yeah, that was nuts. I still get comments on that video to this day. Hey, hook it up. The boys got me or something, because it was like whoever gets the most likes got some G Fuel. And it was like a 24-hour thing, but I don't know. They don't realize that like it's been over for a month or something.
I still do. So I did a few months ago. I'm thinking about doing another one in September, actually. I did a small streamer kind of sponsorship, which is I'm going to pick 2 random people. It's not based on likes or anything. I'm literally going to pick out random people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post in the comment your Twitch channel. I'm going to check out some of your stuff, and I'm going to pick 2 random people. I'm going to drop them a follow. I'm going to drop them a sub, and then I'm going to play a game with them, or, team up with them live on one of my streams. I still get, that lasted for 2 weeks. I said, hey, this is the end date. I literally said it in the video, this is the end date. And I still get people who comment on it. They're like, this is my Twitch channel. It's like, okay, that ended, bro.
Yeah, well, the reason the video is probably still getting views is because it's still getting comments. So yeah, it is what it is.
It's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though. That's one thing that was a lot of fun actually, and that's why I'm thinking about doing it again. I surprised everybody by going through and I think there was 112 people who commented on it. I went through and all 112 I followed on Twitch.
Wow.
I got 112 follows. Yeah. Yeah, that was sweet.
That's cool.
It was It's really cool seeing people live. Like when I was going through, just like pulling up one by one by one, and all of a sudden I pull up an account and they're live. Like that was really fun.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of that, so do you pop into people's streams and they're like, "Hey, I know who you are"? Like, does that happen? Isn't it weird that like?
It's less weird now because I feel like it's a little bit more justified.
Yeah.
Now I'm averaging again, over 50 viewers. I got over 2,500. TikTok is more, but there was a time that I had like, I don't know, maybe 10,000 TikTok followers, which is still a good number. Um, and I was averaging like 8 viewers a stream. Like it's still, I mean, it's good, but I'd pop in and they'd be like, "Holy shit, so and so is here," and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, pump the brakes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not anywhere near what you're thinking I am. And there was 2 times I remember very vividly where they would say that, and who they were playing with was like, "Wait, who? Wait, what?" And they'd pull it up, and the person I dropped into had more followers than I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially on Twitch, like they've been doing it for longer and did the old grind, and they have a ton of followers, but at the time they had 2 viewers, so I just popped in to say hi. But their guys pulling it up like they have no idea who I am, and they're like, well, "What do you mean? This guy's got, a fraction of your total followers. Like, why are you so excited?" They're like, "I don't know, but it's exciting."
Yeah. The thing that's weird to, I mean, weird in a good way. Like, it's humbling, you know. I go into bigger streams now and like I'll say something, or they're like, "Oh, like show some hype," and I'll use like my hype emote or something, and there'll be like 5 or 10 people like, "Hey, Danny Doritos here." It's just weird.
The Bear Gang knows me, and they're pretty active around the community, so that's always cool. But the craziest part of all the growth to me is the ability to interact with people that I have no business interacting with.
Yeah.
And specifically, like she's very, very popular on TikTok is UFC fighter Megan Anderson. So she streams, she's on TikTok, she comments on stuff. She's teamed up with a couple other streamers. She plays Call of Duty, but she's contending. She just got announced to play or to fight against Nunez for the women's
Yeah.
light or welterweight belt. And like the fact that she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, like, love your content. I think it's super great." And then now, like, she posts on videos like frequently. She'll comment on stuff, and like when I comment on her stuff, she replies almost all the time. And we've been talking about doing a collab stream and teaming up at some point. Like, the fuck am I doing talking to a professional athlete? And I get it. Like, that's not LeBron James. Like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like I'm a dude in Minnesota sitting in my basement playing video games. Like, how am I even getting this shot and this opportunity to
Yeah.
have this conversation or to play with this level of person? Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's
I still think the craziest thing that's happened to me is I got recognized at Chipotle.
I got 1 time. No, 2 times now. 2 times now. So tell me about your Chipotle experience.
So everybody's wearing masks. So I go in there and I just noticed there was like this couple in line behind me, and they kept looking at me and like whispering, and I'm like, "Are they looking at me? Like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't think they recognize me or anything." And then I come back home, and like I tell my girlfriend, I was like, "Yeah, I think some people might have recognized me." And sure enough, I pull up my TikTok to answer some comments on the most recent one I posted, and somebody goes, "Were you just at Chipotle?" And I was like, I just put like a shh emoji, and I was like, "Don't be telling people where I live." But
They didn't call you out on it, like right there.
no, I think they weren't sure, because of the mask.
Mine did. First one happened very early on. Like I was only at a couple thousand, and I was golfing. 2 kids behind me that were like 13 maybe, and I was just golfing by myself after work one day, just trying to get around it, and they recognized me and they asked like, "Hey, are you bad?" And I was like, "Yeah." I went home and I texted my buddies. I was like, "Great, I hit my target demographic of 13-year-old boys. We did it." The second one though, I was ironically golfing again at a charity tournament, and we just got done with the round. I'm headed up to the clubhouse, and somebody shouts, and I mean shouts, "Big dick energy!" and running down. And I literally was like, that's our big thing, right? Is BDE. And turn around and he's like, "Yo, I'm, so and so, so and so." I was like, "Oh no!" Like I knew the username for sure, and didn't realize he worked there. I knew he lived in Minnesota. We talked about that before, but didn't realize he was, anything like that. Afterwards, I was like, "How awkward would that interaction have been if that wasn't me?"
Yeah,
If he was shouting that. He was like, "I was pretty confident." I was like, "But what? What if? What if we were wrong?"
Yeah.
A weird thing.
Yeah, I went live on TikTok before a stream because like I said, I normally do, but I forgot. I was like, man, I'm at a Doritos, and that's one of my rewards is like Dorito ASMR, so I gotta have Doritos ready. And so I went to like a nearby CVS, and I'm live on the TikTok, like talking to the screen, and somebody comments on it like, "Hey, I just saw you in the parking lot," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like looking around. Yeah, but it's funny.
Crazy.
It makes sense because TikTok is geographically based, so.
And then you get the other counterpart of that too, which is also scary, which is you are more open and more visible. I keep bringing her up, but Cruz literally was just talking about she got a dog, she got a Rottweiler, and she's grown up with dogs, but she's literally like, it's because there's been she's at that level now where she does get recognized in one of the more predominant female streamers right now.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, she walks into a place and there's lights flashing, but if she's out or traveling or anything like that, and some like she's pretty recognizable if you know who she is.
Yeah.
So she had to get this dog because she's like, there's times I don't feel safe. Like, especially if she's by herself, like it just is a female.
Yeah, I get it.
Crazy to think about that. Like you're to the point where people know you so much that they want to like stalk the city that you live in and then try to find out where you live. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a misstep. Somebody had asked in the chat, we were like, it was at the beginning of the stream, so we're like just chatting, and they're like, "Hey, how much is G Fuel? Like, is there any coupons or anything?" So I pull up G Fuel, right? Off screen, I look at it, I'm logged out, no personal information on there. But then as I'm talking to them, I explain that I use Honey, right, to get the coupons. And when I clicked apply coupon for Honey, it logged me back in. So there's my checkout where it's looking for a coupon, and I'm talking to the chat, and then my girlfriend runs in, she's like, turn it off, like get it off the screen, the address is right there. And I'm like, oh fuck, like I move it and everything, I try to act cool, calm, and the auto mod flags something right away. Some guy was like, "Hey man, I know where you live now, I'm gonna come rape your girlfriend."
Dude, people are nuts. What the
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was trying to keep my cool, but I said, I was like, "Hey, so-and-so," I was like, "If you come here, I'm gonna shoot your dick off." Like, I was pissed, Yeah.
We just did a 12-hour stream. It's the first one I've ever done, and I didn't eat before. I was an idiot. I packed a little bit of food during. I was snacking on it. When we got to like hour 9.5, I was tired.
Yeah.
I was low energy, and I could tell like I hadn't eaten. But by then it was like 11:30 at night. And so I'm talking to the guys and I'm like, "Do we think there's a pizza place?" As a joke, we're in the middle of a Warzone match. I'm calling the pizza place and I'm holding my phone like this live on stream and talking to them. Sure enough, they say, "Yeah, we'll still deliver. We'll bring you what you need." I was like, "Dude, awesome." And they're like, "All right, let me get your phone number." And I literally started I had to pause.
Yeah.
Go mute because I was like, "Nope."
At least you caught yourself.
Yeah, correct.
So like I immediately, this was back when I had like, I think there was like 30 people watching. So it wasn't like crazy where I was like, "Dude, we gotta move," or anything like that. You know what I mean? But it was like, gotta be more careful. And I deleted the VOD right away.
One weirdo is all it takes.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, it's gosh.
I called the sheriff's department here and was like, "Hey, how do I like make sure that if somebody tries to swat me now, like how do I make sure that doesn't happen?" And so they're like, yeah, just fill out a report. And so if somebody tries to do that, it'll get generated and be like, "Hey, they've reported that, this has happened, their address has been leaked." And so they're like, yeah, that's all the difference between a SWAT team showing up thinking there's actually something wrong and like 2 officers coming to check out the place, be like, make sure everything's okay. So I think I covered my base there, but yeah, that's still it's like,
scary,
damn, man.
Dude.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
in the moment, it's like I'm just trying to like not like keep my cool. I don't want them to be like,
it's that heart sinking moment where you know you just did something you should not
yeah,
have done. And I've had a couple of that, not like to that level, but said something I shouldn't have said or something like that. And you know, the moment it happens, you're just like, bitch.
yeah. I've had that happen. Somebody I was playing with was like, uh, you know how it is. People get toxic, and I was like, it's my fault, man. I'm playing like a retard, you know. And I was like, right away, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And he's like, hey, man, that's not cool. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I get it. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say though, you know. And he's just like, that's not cool, man. And I'm like, it's like making it a bigger deal, you know.
Thankfully, I forget. I did something very similar to that. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was along those terms. Oh no, maybe I used the FAGGOT word in a heat of the moment. I think I yelled it, and I immediately, like a second that it happened, like my chat saw me just go white and just be like, "Dude, I never say that. Like, why did that come out?" And like I'd say that live on stream.
Yeah.
And my chat was super cool. They, were texting back like, "Bro, the fact that you even like noticed that you said it," and it's not like I shouted it and that was like the only thing. It was in the middle of the rest of a sentence, and they're like, "That speaks volumes to like what's going on." But it's just to your point, you know you fucked up. You're
Yeah.
like,
Well, it was a little bit like I don't know how to say it. The guy that I was playing with was he was a regular like viewer, and he kept trying to like collab with me, but he was like trying to call me in the middle of the night on Discord and stuff, you know, stuff like that. And so like I don't know if it was like him trying to make a big deal about it because he was upset that like I wasn't like giving him more attention or something, you know, like out of spite. But he was just like, you know, you can get banned for that, right? This and that. This, it's like trying to like make me feel like crap about it. And
yeah,
so
we had a guy who very early on he connected and joined our community. He was one of the originals, and I've helped him and talked through. And multiple times I've gotten on like Discord calls with him and walked him through mechanics and setups and things like that. Helped him. And I feel bad because again, as we continue to grow, you can't have that same personal connection. And he popped into the chat the other day and posted once, and it just flew by, and I missed it completely. And he messaged me afterwards, like, "Are you mad at me? Like, did I do something?" I was like, "No, bro, like, not at
yeah.
all." But it's this scaling aspect is real, and new challenges come up, and that's what we were talking about way earlier, right? Is about there's always going to be speed bumps and things you're going to have to deal with, and it's not like now's the perfect time. It's as we grow. Like if I double my business now, there's going to be a whole new other ladder of things that I'm going to have to take into account and struggle with and figure out and adapt to. And that's why it helps to have a community. I was texting with Big Rob about wanting to form like a Discord of just content creators, and not like major ones, but big ones, people who are taking this seriously and idea share and talk about what's going on and what's working and what's not, specifically ones on TikTok. You know what I mean? And not a community thing. It's not invite everybody, but I was like, we need more interaction with each other, in my opinion, because sometimes we're on a damn island just grinding away, and it's not like we're lonely, but at the same time there's no outreach, and we're just grinding every day doing the
Yeah.
same thing and trying to figure out what's working and monitor other people, that if there was more interaction that could help. His very intellectual response was, "I don't know how to use Discord, so you'll have to teach me." And I was like, thanks Rob.
I felt so bad during our podcast. His camera died, and he was trying so hard to get it to work, and he had to switch to like his crappy webcam. But
that's on him.
I know.
He knows cameras. If he knows anything else, he knows cameras. So that's on him.
Well, he couldn't get it to work in Discord for some reason. He was like, it's not popping up as a source. And like, it's plugged in, I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and this and that. I think it was just like a new to Discord issue, but I was just like, you got to learn how to do it. Discord's big,
He has no idea. He's one of those people who's just spinning his wheels and figuring it out as he goes, which is awesome. I love it. But yeah, he'll be the first to tell you. Yes. No, he is. And he's a smart content creator.
Yeah.
But a lot of this is new because he did YouTube for the longest time. Like that's all he did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
and
he told me.
He's starting to transition over and do all these other things. But if you weren't privy to it before, like streaming right now, like he just picked up streaming because other people were streaming and he's like, I'm already playing video games. I might as well again continue to leverage the community that I built. But he has no idea about streaming mechanics or the the
Yeah.
features, and yeah, he gets hyped about it when he figures stuff out. He is
I mean,
super smart.
I feel dumb sometimes, but then I don't, because I mean, you have to ask questions. There's been times where I'm doing something and I ask the chat, I'm like, I don't know why this isn't working. How do I, like, does anybody know how to do this? And sure enough, somebody will speak up, be like, yeah, you just do this, and it's like a setting or something small like that.
I don't know computers worth a damn. I don't know. I just built, and I built it a freaking tank of a computer,
Yeah,
and I don't know anything about them. If you would have asked me 3 months ago the difference between all these components, or how, I'd have no idea. And
yeah,
it literally it requires asking questions and reaching out to people to be like, hey, I've played on console my whole life. I've never had to pay attention to computer specs. Like, what does this matter? Does this make sense for me to spend money on or no?
yeah,
And that's just an example of, and this is true for all content creators of any size. It's like you have to be willing to just step back and say, I don't know how to do this. I'm good
yeah,
at these things. I want to be better at these things. Who can show me how to do this? And
yeah,
thankfully, I got people who are very good at tech who were able to walk me through and kind of say, yeah, this is good, or you're not going to need that, or make sure you really invest in this because this long term is going to be the most future proof thing that you can get. Blah blah blah.
yeah. I installed a like a AIO CPU cooler, and I have a bit of an older motherboard, and it didn't like it, so I tried streaming with it, and just nothing was working. Like it was just, it kept lagging and frame skipping. And somebody in my community, I don't know if they still watch, but he whispered me and was like, after the stream, if you want to, like, I can help you with your settings, we can figure out what it is. And yeah, we sat on Discord for like half an hour, and I figured out that like my motherboard just didn't like it, so I swapped it back out for the original cooler, put new thermal paste, and was good to go. But like, it was like that to me. I was like, I have no idea why it's not working. And
First stream with this
yeah,
was skipping. I was dropping frames, and I was like, this thing is a goddamn tank. I was like, there's no reason. I'm on stream like yelling at my computer. And I just, I can't troubleshoot live. And my buddy Mike, who is really, really good at tech, is sitting there like he's a mod in so he can pull up the diagnostics on the stream to try to figure out where the drop frames are happening and what part and all that. And he's like, yeah, it's really weird. Like all this. He's like, is your CPU good? I was like, yeah, my CPU is capping out at like 2.9. I pulled up the GPU. GPU's at like 1.4 because I don't game on it.
yeah,
Like this thing is literally not being used. Why am I dropping frames? I ended up having to literally go back to the same settings I had on the laptop. Well, through trial and error, I figure out that it's the upload speed of the internet that I have.
it's a big one. Yeah,
Huge. And I pay for gigabit internet, but there was a channel problem with my router or modem, one of the two, that basically was bottlenecking it. And so
yeah,
Comcast actually, they hooked me up. They gave me a free one. They're like, this is normally a $200, or we lease it to people, but you've been a customer and you're at so-and-so level. We'll just give this to you for free. But sure enough, that fixed it. But that's not stuff I ever had to deal with.
yeah.
I'm not used to those types of questions.
Well, I've had issues with my internet like ever since I started streaming here, and one of the issues was Spectrum. Like everything will be good before I start the stream, and then like halfway through the stream, all of a sudden the bit rate will just tank, and people are like, "Hey, we can't see you," and I'm just like, "Great," like I can't do anything about it. It's just the internet like shitting itself. And so my girlfriend came in because like I was just bummed out, like I had to end the stream early. Somebody reached out to me on Twitch and was like, yeah, man, you might, like, the issue is probably it's a shared line. So anytime people get home from work or they're done with their work and they start watching Netflix, it's affecting yours. So sure enough, I reached out to AT&T because they have their lines. It's not as fast. It's like 50 download and like 10 upload, but it's a single line that's not shared with anybody. So it doesn't drop because people are watching 4K Netflix,
Yep.
So I have two internet providers, and like yesterday AT&T had an outage, but they actually reported it, so I was like, okay, like they're trying to fix it. Whereas Spectrum, I'd call them and like, yeah, there's nothing we could do about it, it's just what it is. And I'm just like, sweet. Like we pay $125 a month for it, and it doesn't work when I need it to.
Perfect. Well, and that's what was crazy. So I bought the modem that I bought, a router, again I don't remember which one was crap in the bed. I bought when I was out of Vegas using Cox internet, and it
Yeah.
was built for gig speed internet. So I was like, there's
Hmm.
no reason that this is it. And thankfully, I got somebody on the phone who was as helpful as anybody I've ever heard on the phone was. And she literally was like, well, let's run this report and do this. Give me the model number, type it in. And she was like, yeah. So the deal is that even though it can process it, they're kind of told how to speak one language or a few languages. Uh, but it can do universal, but not always. And so they're like, the problem is you have a really nice modem, but it doesn't speak our language. And so we're sending you gig speed internet with, I think my upload is 35,
Yeah.
but it's having a tough time computing that and spitting that back out on the other side.
Hmm.
So again, you had to get it fixed. But yeah, the tech part is just crazy to me. Some
Yeah.
people love it. They're great with it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said yesterday, it bummed me out for a bit, but then like I was like, you know what? I got two internets. Let me just plug the other one back in. So I switched Ethernets. Was good to go. You know.
Challenge. I got two internets.
Yeah. I know it sounds weird, right? Uh, like there's people who comment, they're like, "Why are you complaining about your internet? I use a hotspot to stream," and I'm just like, "Oh, sorry." It's true, but
Yeah, it's also, I mean, the frustration comes with it's the expectation,
yeah,
right? Not just like, well, if I have a hotspot, I know what I'm going to expect. Like if the best internet I can get because I live out in the country is, you know, literally 10 up or 10 down, 2 up. Like it is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. You're just limited by your area at that
But when
point.
I'm buying gig and I'm not getting it, like that
Yeah,
pisses me off. It's all expectation.
yeah. So I don't know. I usually don't just talk about, you know, TikTok and Twitch the whole time. So if you want to, like I said, talk about other stuff, I did write down some stuff just to kind of like give me ideas, but I kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Um, are you into movies and TV at all? I got out of the
Big movie guy.
military to go work in the industry, but then everything shut down. So
Yeah, I'm a big uh movie buff. Always have been.
okay,
Um TV, I've seen the major ones. I normally do. I binge less now than I used to.
same here.
But like seen all of Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, you talk about the major shows that have come across our era. I've pretty much seen them all, minus probably the only one I take off is The Wire, and it's only because I haven't done the time.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, love movies, love them.
Well,
Seriously,
you got a favorite movie?
favorite movie? No, no, I wouldn't say favorite movie because they're all just so different. But I'd say like some of my favorites, like general genres. I'm
Yeah.
obviously a huge nerd, so the whole MCU, I'm all in
Okay.
on. But like the type of person who's keeping up with all the updates and all the news when Infinity War was coming, and uh, I think I went to the midnight release of Infinity War. Like it's just an end game. Like it was just that whole saga was lovely to me. But you take that off and you start looking at other movies. It's kind of just whatever pops up. I can appreciate so many different films and so many different ways of what it is. I mean, obviously, like comedies always have their place, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think about like the last movie that I saw that I was like, holy cow, this was outstanding.
Yeah. The last one for me was Blade Runner 2049. That one.
And I didn't see it because I didn't want to ruin the original Blade Runner for me.
I see. I'm not a fan of the original. I just can't.
Oh,
I respect it. I respect it, but
yeah.
I just don't think for me the rewatchability is just not there. Like
Yeah.
I've tried. Like I tried to get like when the new one was coming out. I was on a deployment and like a bunch of us, coasties sat down and tried to watch it, and halfway through it, like half of the people there were like, "I'm gonna go play video games." They just couldn't. It was too slow for them, and I mean, I get it. It's just it's that one's a lot more like metaphorical stuff like that,
Yep.
Which I'm into to an extent. I think it's just Ridley Scott, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of Ridley Scott.
And it's very Ridley Scott. It also has gotten a huge bump because of its cult following, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
To it. I don't know why this is the movie that's sticking into my head, but it really the last movie I got, because obviously we've been at home for so long now,
Yeah.
and I'll do like the preview or the buy to own type thing here. The last movie that I saw that I was like, I had a fun time watching this was Bad Boys 3.
Really, I haven't seen it yet.
Man, and
It's
I went into it being like, it's gonna be. I knew what it was gonna be, and it is that, but it's also just very entertaining. And there was multiple times throughout the movie that I was just like, okay, this is dope. This is
so
sweet.
that one's not Michael Bay, right? He didn't make that one, right?
I don't remember whether or not I think he was a producer on it. I don't think he directed it.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's what piqued me. I was like, huh, I'm curious to see how somebody else would handle that,
Music. Yeah, where's director?
those characters.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, I'll have to go watch it then for sure. It's on
It
the
was
list.
very entertaining. Bombshell was very good.
I haven't seen
A
that
little
one
bit
yet
more.
either.
That was Margot Robbie, Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman, and Charlize Theron with freaking love.
Did you watch The Old Guard on Netflix?
Oh,
Fantastic. It was like one of the first Netflix movies where I was like, it knew what it was. It was a good story. Like it just,
check it out.
yeah.
The premise there.
So they're like, what do you want to call them? Kind of like contractors, right? Like,
What is it, like modern time and everything?
Yeah, it's modern time, but they're like immortal, like warriors. So, and then the whole idea is that Charlize Theron is like losing her immortality. Like she's that old that like she's starting to lose that. She's having to face like, if I get shot now, I could die. So it was, yeah, it was a cool concept. I think they executed it well.
I'm obsessed with her right now.
Yeah, she killed it.
I forget what movie I watched her in. Bombshell. I rewatched Bombshell the other day.
Yeah.
And she makes this freaking movie. She's such a badass. And then I literally went on a tear of just watching her in various movies.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, back to the Fast and the Furious that she was in.
Atomic Blonde. I liked her in that.
Or that's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I rewatched is Atomic Blonde. Yeah. And then obviously she was in Bombshell. But yeah, it was
yeah, she's a hell of an actress. Yeah.
She does it so well. The other movie I really liked that she was in was The Long Shot with Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah, super underrated. I'm surprised more people didn't see it. Yeah, it was funny. It got me, dude. It was funny.
It was thoroughly. But yeah, I kind of watch everything, obviously.
Yeah, I'm definitely into more of like because like I said, I was gonna go work in the film industry, so I understand a lot about how it all works. Like how hard it is to make a certain type of scene, and so I'm definitely into like artsy stuff.
Did you like what was Tarantino's recent
Once
movie?
Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Like it?
Absolutely, I loved it.
I hated it. And I have one of my friends is in Hollywood. She works on what is she on right now? Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay, I want to say. But she works on a production crew. And she's like, if you understand film and like you're part of like it's so nostalgic and so well done. And I was just like, I just didn't care.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were just like, it's Tarantino. They're expecting a lot of like, shoot 'em up, bloody action, and it was more about the characters this time, and it was honestly, it was just Tarantino having fun with his nostalgic stuff, his childhood.
Huge nerd. He's seen all of the like super underrated movies, like the ones you'd never see, and that's where he draws his inspiration from. So yeah, he's got a huge love for all of that, and it was a big passion project for him. But
I don't think it's his best. I don't, but it connected with me, I think, is the big thing. Brad Pitt's character,
one of my favorites.
One of the coolest dudes ever.
But if you would have removed him from the movie, I would have been like, this movie makes no sense.
Yeah, it definitely felt like you're just kind of like a fly on the wall. Things are just happening, I loved Leonardo DiCaprio in it. It was funny to see him play kind of like a socially awkward type of dude, Yeah, I just thought I hope. I think they're supposed to make Tarantino's going to make a western for Netflix based off of the show that Leonardo DiCaprio is on in the
Oh,
movie.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, he was good. Brad Pitt was excellent in it. Margot Robbie, again, I could have taken her miss there. And again, she's just playing the nostalgic role.
Yeah.
And apparently she did very well. I didn't know who's the actress's name that she played.
Sharon Tate.
Yeah, and I didn't know much about that story and what actually happened,
Yeah, I think it was kind of hard for especially people like. Sorry, how old did you say you were? Sorry, you cut out. 30? 30? Yeah, so like I'm 24, so if I didn't like read into it, I wouldn't know who Sharon Tate is, you know?
I knew she was as an actress, but like I didn't know the whole backstory and how she ended up dying, and apparently it was gigantic news. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Like I know my grandparents, like they were like, yeah, that was like the day that Hollywood died when that happened, you know?
makes sense. I mean, obviously it was very dramatic, but yeah, I went through the whole movie kind of like you said, like thinking this is a Tarantino. Knew that it wasn't going to be like a normal, but I did expect that to pop in, and I guess it did for the last bit. But specifically, when I thought the switch was going to flip was when Brad Pitt's walking through the trailer park and trying to get the girl or trying to check on the guy because he thinks they're all just floating there, and it's just like that's when I thought things were going to go south
Yeah.
very quickly.
I will admit it kind of did, like, it wasn't a letdown. I was just kind of like, okay, like it just got super intense, or tense, you know what I mean? And then I thought the dude was gonna be dead, and then he wasn't, and then it was kind of like funny, but I was just like, all right, so now
And
what?
now Brad Pitt's in the belly of the beast. Like Brad Pitt is deep into this
Yeah.
community, just walking by everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, I mean, that's also part of it is two things that can be said about that. Number one is the payoff doesn't always come, and that's part of what Tarantino wanted you to realize is that. And two, it also shows the masterful build that Tarantino can do.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, it's crazy how he can. It's almost like he just flips a switch and he can take you on a little ride, you know? Um, for me, I think the most genius thing that he did with that story. Sorry, little guy's having a tantrum. I don't know if you can hear that. Um, so he builds up Brad Pitt as this badass that can beat everybody up and stuff, and then right when you know that he's gonna need to like whoop some ass, he's tripping on acid. So you're like, oh, I hope he doesn't die, you know? So like for me, I was just like, I was at the edge of my seat the last 30 minutes.
It's so crazy. It's so absurd. But again, I think, and I told my friend this, I was like, I probably have to go back and rewatch it because I think I walked in the first time expecting product A and I got product B, and that I think deterred me. But yeah, I was not a huge fan of it when I saw it the first time. I'm excited for the new Batman.
Oh,
New Batman's
that.
I haven't seen a movie win me over faster in a trailer than that Batman movie did.
Well, this whole time leading up to that trailer, people are like, dude, you're crazy. Robert Pattinson is gonna suck. He's such a pretty boy, this and that. I'm like, I'm telling you guys, there's some movies I've seen him in where I was like, all right, can't talk crap about him anymore. He can act. So
Gritty movies. I was less worried about him because in those movies, what I've learned through watching just movies in general, it's much less about the actors. It's way more about the director.
absolutely,
It's way more director get out of this person, and is the vision what it should be? And that's been the problem with DC is it's been too driven by studio decisions, which is why I'm super excited for the Snyder cut of Justice League to come out, because like that's Zach basically going back and being like, this is how it should have been done if they would have let me actually do it, just rushing this whole damn storyline.
I'm worried about it.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, he's not.
They're not letting him shoot anymore, so it's like whatever they have, they're gonna piece together, and they're probably gonna have to take some footage from the new one to fill in the gaps. But from the final product that came out, I like Zack Snyder. I really liked Man of Steel, but I think the only reason I liked it is because Christopher Nolan wrote it. So I'm just not a fan of like his really depressing colors that he uses, like his color palette for what he films it in, like his whatever you want to call it. But I respect him. I really like Dawn of the Dead. I thought that was an awesome remake.
done some good things. He's also
Yeah.
done some not so great things. I agree with you. He's not one of those people that I see his name on something and I'm immediately like, boom.
Yeah.
But he was a good fit for that, and I just they botched that. And it was so obvious that they botched it because they rushed it.
Yeah.
They were trying to keep Marvel, but Marvel had almost a decade on them
Yeah.
of great backlines, and they created 6 films or whatever before they created an Avengers. And it's like you got to know these characters and introduce them, and you feel connected to them so that when you brought them together, it felt organic and you could build up to this moment
Yeah.
versus Justice League was like, hey, we created Batman and Superman, and guess what? Now everyone's here. We're all playing together. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm definitely curious. I'll definitely watch it. I'm just it's so hyped, you know what I mean? In that community that I'm worried it's gonna be a letdown. But
yeah, I'm excited. It'll get my view. Wonder Woman looks great, but I'm saying that
the new one. Yeah.
1984.
I like the whole 80s thing ever since Stranger Things came out and like
To revisit back to the 80s. So I don't think you've ever attended my stream. So my intro music now it's a composer. He actually did the 80s music that was used in the Wonder Woman trailer, and actually of the song Blue Monday that is used in the new Call of Duty trailer. Actually, I had multiple people reach out to me and be like, dude, this is your intro music. I was like, yeah, I know. But he did my intro music is literally him doing Blue Monday, him doing Sweet Dreams, are made of this, and then Paint It Black. And it's like this
oh,
big organ composer. And yeah, it's very, very
that's crazy.
80s theme. Sweet. I love it. I love the 80s is such a fun time that gets underrated.
Yeah, I posted a highlight. It was just me watching it and I'm like, "Wait, are they going to this is the 80s?" And I was like, "The 80s, bro." I'm like freaking out. I'm like, "Yes." They finally did like I was worried that it was just going to be Vietnam again, like a straight up reboot like Modern Warfare was, you know? But I don't know. It seems like it's like a direct sequel to the first Black Ops, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to I think it's supposed to be the events either right before or right after. I don't remember which one, but it's literally supposed to be incongruent too, where it's not going to be a direct crossover per se or a direct remake,
Right.
but more so it stand on its own legs.
Yeah.
I did a great job with their trailer and um obviously the live event.
Yeah, I think
Which
I popped into your stream, and I think what we talked about was the only issue was like I was expecting a nuke to go off.
and
Yeah,
they built it up like big changes were happening. And yeah, I literally expected them to almost do like which was drop a nuke and then turn off all servers for like 48 hours. I think that was the smartest move Fortnite has ever had, which is when they did the black hole. And literally, if you tried to get on and play Battle Royale, you couldn't for 2 days. It popped up as a black hole and there was no option to play. And it builds anticipation, it builds
yeah,
talk. Nobody's ever done it before. You're forcing people to basically talk about this instead of playing. And I expected them to do something very similar with Call of Duty and come back with, hey, that dropped on Tuesday or whatever. On Friday, the download's available for the brand new map. It's already done. And
yeah.
that just wasn't.
I wonder if they had a plan to do that, but then COVID just ruined it.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a possibility.
But you could tell that was what they were running, because that like final scene where you're running into the stadium and the sirens are going off, you
Yeah,
got the hazmat cap down. It's like it's going to be such an iconic moment that it didn't pay off the way you
yeah.
wanted it to.
I think it could still happen. It's just now it's not gonna be as cool.
I mean, who knows? They might do something that's sweet, but
Maybe, yeah,
they in that moment, if you would have gotten in the middle of stadium and the nuke would have hit,
yeah. And then the trailer started. Yeah,
and then again, they don't explain anything other than nuke hits, trailer starts, trailer stops, bumps you back out to the main lobby, and battle royale is no longer available.
yeah.
And for 2 days, that's how it is. They don't announce anything, they don't say anything, and then on Thursday they announce, for Friday, hey, the new map is going to be available. Download of so and so live at 10 a.m.
Hmm.
It's like
Did you hear what got leaked? The beta date got leaked.
No, when's that scheduled for now?
PS4 October 8th. I think it's October 8th. So we got a little ways, but
PS4 is getting the early release.
I guess so. That's what I'm assuming. I guess they still have that exclusive deal. So obviously now I'm on PC, but I'd always been an Xbox guy. So when that switched, I was like, damn.
I see. I'm still on Xbox, even though I have the PC.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Sorry,
I haven't made the change. I think the PC's a tank. It could handle it. My fear is that if I'm trying to game and stream at the same time on the same rig, I'm just gonna be burning through.
What's in it? What'd you build?
It's an i9 9900 processor.
Okay.
The GPU is a RTX GeForce 2060 8 gig super.
Okay.
64 gigs of RAM.
Damn.
I hammered RAM, and the reason I did that is because I do a lot of rendering.
Right on. Yeah. So absolutely.
You don't have RAM, the thing can't figure out what you're doing.
Yeah, I got 32, but I've thought about it.
I had 32 in the cart, and then I was like, you know what? The motherboard can take it. It's like an extra 117.
Yeah.
Throw chips in there. Let's get it done. 1 terabyte solid state, 4 terabyte regular hard drive, and then some pro motherboard. That's it. But I don't have a capture card for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a single PC setup, so I don't have a capture card. But I would like to.
I've heard even in a single PC setup, it makes sense to have a capture card in there because it can capture your gameplay rather than relying on it's an extra chip. So your GPU can play the game, your capture card can record it.
Okay. You mean stream it or record it?
Stream it, yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Because right now, if I were to stream and game on the same PC, like what you're doing, my GPU and CPU are relying on everything.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And some games require a ton of GPU and CPU.
Right.
So what the capture card would do is make it so that it's basically the one that's once it's recorded and it's going to be compressed so that it can be sent out, instead of relying on your GPU and CPU, which is currently being used by your game, there's a whole other chip in there now that's what it does. So it doesn't take up those other two elements. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let's see. Learn something new every day. Yeah,
that's what they told me. Again, I just probably could. I just don't.
So another thing they just announced was the new 3000 series GPUs from NVIDIA. And I'm not planning on getting one anytime soon because I know there's going to be a big price gouge and a shortage because of everything, Yeah,
they're already gouging people left and right. I mean, everything is hiked.
Yeah, but they said it's double the processing power of the 20 series.
That's what I need.
And they're like thick. There's some thick boys.
They're prepping for your literally VR to be taking reign.
They said it can do 8K 60 FPS.
The problem is that now the consoles and the PCs are outperforming your monitors. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I get a good monitor.
I still have a 1080p 240 hertz. I don't have any desire to play in 4K anytime soon, but
here's what I did. And again, I was not on the PC. This is when I was on the Xbox. I bought both. I bought a 240 hertz it upgraded to 1440.
Yeah.
And then I have the 4K at, I think it's 30. I don't even think it's 60 on the refresh. And I preferred the 4K for Call of Duty because of the distance.
Okay.
Because I got clearer resolution for distance. I could see something further out versus the higher refresh rate to me. Like I could see more stuff that was happening in front of me maybe, and it was processing.
Yeah.
But I snipe. I need to see that little speck on that mountain moving, and I could not see that on the 1080.
You're a pretty big sniper. Yeah, that's becoming a big thing in the I've noticed it more recently. There's a lot of TikTokers who are like, "Oh, I'm like the king of sniping on TikTok," and I'm like,
Lucci,
yeah,
yeah, Lucci and Pineapples are going back and forth on that. And
yeah.
I tagged Lucci in my videos, and I was saying that. I was like, I'm not saying I'm the king, but I belong on the team. And he commented back, being like, "We officially accept you to the team."
I definitely have my moments. I'm not like shooting people out of helicopters left and right, but I have some pretty crazy shots.
Yeah, I can snipe. That's, I mean, easily my biggest strength.
I'm a hard scoper.
See, and I don't quick scope.
Yeah,
No,
I can't do
I can
that.
quick with it, but not like some of these people can. But that's also part of the problem with like medium range. I'm okay, but you get close range, and especially if you're playing against some of the players that are elite at that, like I can't. They're so quick at, like, they'll shoot, drop, and keep their cursor
Yeah.
over you the whole time. I can't do all that.
I have one shot I did. I don't know like what the farthest shots are or anything, but I couldn't believe I hit it. And somebody told me they looked at it with that spotter scope, and it was like 1,800 meters.
That's insane.
Yeah, just on top of a building. I was just like, first try, hit him, and I was like, it downed him too, so I hit him in the head. Yeah. I was just insane. Like, what the yeah, I'm like freaking out on the stream.
Those are the best ones, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had one kill where literally, like, I wasn't even trying to kill. Like, I killed somebody else that I wasn't trying to kill. Like, I took a shot,
gotcha,
missed the guy, hit somebody else, I guess, way back in the distance. And you're just like, sure, that guy's kill cam's got to be so frustrating.
It's really hard for me to stay focused when I hit like a couple good shots. Like, I just want to look at the chat because people are like freaking out. They're like, dude, like that was a crazy shot, and then I'll get killed, because I'm not paying attention. So
looking at monitors right now, this is what I was going to do, is try to find a high refresh rate 4K monitor.
They're so expensive.
So here it is. 4K at 120 is as high as it goes right now.
Yeah.
I guess they have some coming, they're saying soon, at 144. Yeah.
Yeah, how much they go for?
So they're like killing me what they are. I'm trying to find the price. Oddly enough, cable connections, window scaling. I don't think they're listing it. I think they're just like, these monitors are sweet. This is just an article. I mean, they got to be. Yeah, this isn't enough. Like, I mean, thousands. $1,000.
I can't justify it.
No, for a monitor? No way.
No.
No way, no how. Oh, here's one that's 8,200. That's a good price. Good price on that monitor.
Jeez.
But I mean, at that point, it's kind of like, I'd rather, like, you can get a TV that can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that started on, dude. That's what I started on. So I told you I started with a laptop. Pick this up. I'll show you. That right there, that's an 86-inch TV. It's about as big of a TV as you're gonna get. 4K, highest refresh rate. It literally is like a top of the line. I got it, I don't know, 2 years ago. It's like as nice of a TV as you could possibly buy when I got it. I got a signing bonus when I got my new job. We took care of a bunch of financial stuff, and we still had this excess. And my wife was like, "All right, you can get this." And I was like, but that's what I was streaming on originally. And I was sitting on a dining room chair in front of this TV, playing on it, literally looking around like this. And my buddy was like, "Dude, if you're really gonna be serious about this, you got to get a monitor so that you can control what you're actually looking at." Yeah, and that's what I started on. I still watch movies on it and everything, but I game here now.
Yeah, I had my Xbox. It was just sitting there collecting dust. I finally gave it to my brother-in-law. But that Xbox One X was, is that what you have?
Yeah,
that thing's a beast.
Yeah, it's a great rig. I mean, it's a strong Xbox, but it just will never be an upgraded computer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to think they're designing these consoles like what, 5 years in advance or something. They're never.
And the new ones are going to be.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here is the 4K 144-inch gaming monitor for $1,800.
I'm good.
And that's what's the size on this? 27-inch. So that's
yeah,
like what I'm on right now.
Yeah, that's what I got. 27.5.
That's insane.
I think my monitor was like $500 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, this one was cheaper than the other one. The gaming monitor was more expensive than I had with the higher refresh rate. But this one, again, I think it was 270 maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the next big thing I would do is build a streaming PC.
And you go dual PC.
Yeah, so that I could utilize, all the frames and stuff. Because I think in Call of Duty I have it limited to like 120, just because I'm streaming at the same time. I don't want to stress it.
On your stream and everything.
Yeah, my bitrate is I stream at 720, so it's I think 4500 is what I have it at.
And that's the first thing I did when I got the new rig. Once I got the upload speed taken care of, was upgrade everything to, it's still 720, but it's 720 at 60 FPS and 6000 on the bitrate. And people like immediately, this is a way cleaner stream.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, that's why when people are like, oh, it's fine, like, the internet might be bad, but like we can still see you. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I went through a lot of trouble to make sure this looks good, and it looks like shit right now.
Yeah, it's I
love how supportive you are, but it's pissing me off.
So, do you find when you stream and you game on the same PC, like, again, that's just been the big thing that has prevented me from doing it, is I'm like, it's going to take away from the stream quality.
Not necessarily the stream quality. It's just you're not going to get as many frames. You're going to get like half the frames.
But that's still, like, even if I got to 120.
So for me, anything above 144 is just like a cherry on top. You know what I mean? Your eyes can notice a difference, but it's diminishing returns after 144. So
you prefer the frame rate versus the pixel depth?
No, I prefer quality. That's why people are like, oh, why aren't you streaming? You have a 1080 Ti and a 3900X. Why aren't you streaming like 240 frames because of your monitor? I'm like, because I want the stream, like, I don't want to be playing on potato graphics,
Yes, I completely agree. But what I'm saying is, like, if you were gaming, you would prefer the higher refresh rate over the higher, like, depth and resolution quality. So meaning you would rather go like 240 at 1080 versus 4K at 60.
Yeah, I would say so, at least for now.
See, I tried both, and I found myself in the opposite camp.
Because I mean, on PC, you the render resolution, you have complete control over it, so
yeah,
you can change the depth. It's not a big deal.
I played Fall Guys once.
Huh?
I played Fall Guys once. That's the PC game I played. I mean, the only PC game I played growing up was Diablo. I played Diablo, and that was it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's yeah, I mean, there's definitely some, like, Red Dead Redemption. I've been meaning to play that on stream. That's supposed to just be like, monster graphics.
Xbox. But again, that was a game I played at 4K on the Xbox One X.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's That's the best campaign game I've ever played.
Okay, I everybody tells me, like, once you get through the beginning of it, like, it's just amazing.
The beginning of it is about 3 hours.
Jeez. Okay.
One of those games.
Okay.
The deal with it is, it was a good game. I was enjoying myself. I was having fun. It was very entertaining. Then I got to the last, call it about 5 hours, the climax of the story and where it's all leading to. And they shot a lot of those cinematic sequences, shot for shot, with old Japanese westerns that were like very cinematic. And so it's beautifully shot, beautifully done, great story arc, great climatic ending. And they did such a good job just wrapping up all the characters and making it equally as much of, this is what you as a consumer want this to be, as much as we're going to throw things at you that you might not be ready for, right? Some character dying, something happening that shouldn't have gone to plan, or something that you didn't see coming. It was the best campaign that I played.
Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about playing that on stream, like just doing, especially now since I'm not so, like I said, I was really like, people are like, why don't you stream longer? And I was like, honestly, it's because already asking people to stick around for 3 or 4 hours is a lot, to have somebody stick around for 8, it's just, when you're worried about them averages, it's a lot.
The It's a grind, man. It's you're right. When you're not worried about the numbers, it's way different. Um, but I mean, to your, it's like I could be using that other time doing other things. You
Yeah,
know, like if I had 8 hours, I could do all 8 hours streaming, or I could do four, which is a good solid stream, and then go do 4 hours of video editing and content creation,
yeah.
which is only going to help pull it over.
So one thing that I've thought of is like because I've never done the longest stream I've done is like since I really kind of started to pick up steam is I did like a 6 hour charity stream, which is not very long at all. Um, but people are like, when are we gonna do a 24-hour stream? And I'm like, right now with the way the family situation is and stuff and the limited space, I just can't do it. It's not fair to them.
It's so I was thinking about doing a 24-hour stream, ended up going 12 instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Next
4 hours with bear. That would be a bear. I was pretty dead at the end of 12. Not to say that I couldn't have flipped a switch and done it, but it's so much goddamn gaming.
Yeah.
And the problem for me was I broke it down afterwards. I did about 9 hours of that stream was Warzone, which is a very high intensity focus game. Versus, I did about 2 hours of Fall Guys during that stream and about an hour of Dead by Daylight.
I'm trying to find people to play Dead by Daylight with.
We're on.
October's right around the corner. You know?
Is that the cross-platform?
What's that?
So they announced that they're doing cross-platform.
Dead by Daylight? Okay. I know a couple games announced it. I think Apex announced it too.
What's in October then?
No, I was just saying October's around the corner. It's time to play spooky games, you know?
Yeah. I enjoy it. We're not good at it, but we've had some really fun times playing it where it's ridiculous enough that it gets you shouting at things and screaming.
Yeah. I don't know if I could play that for like a whole stream because it's kind of repetitive, but I've had fun with that game.
Yeah. There's a really big issue with the balance of quality. Like the really good killers, when they get really leveled up, are damn near impossible. You can't beat them.
Yeah.
You can't beat them. There's literally one that goes invisible.
Yeah. Can't do anything about that.
No. It's like, okay. There was another one that we found out after we were playing that goes down. It's the one from Stranger Things, whatever that creature is called.
The Demogorgon.
Yeah. It goes down into the ground. It hops into a hole and pops up somewhere. And it's like, it almost is like immediate travel. The game that we played, literally the hole one was right by a generator, the other one was by a hook. It's like, okay, how are we going to win?
Yeah. It's going to pick you up and put you on the hook in like 2 seconds. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that game is still games like that impress me though. Like Rainbow Six, love it or hate it, that game is still a thing. It's still relevant, Crazy. The communities.
I'm excited for Diablo 4. They announced it last year. I mean, it's probably still a couple years out, but that'll be great. That's another one of those games, RPG games that just stick around forever. I mean, there's still people slaying around in Diablo 3, running around.
Yeah, I think I've played one of them with a buddy back in like high school. I played just hanging out.
I mean, I played one originally, but that wasn't online. That was much single player. 2 was online. I played a ton of that. I was in middle school at that time. And then 3 came out when I was in high school, maybe in college, actually.
You excited for Cyberpunk?
I will be playing it.
I'm excited because, like I said, I'm really into like synthwave and Blade Runner.
To be excited for it only because of all the issues they've had.
Oh, you're not excited because of issues?
They've had multiple delays, multiple problems. Now, Project Red does an unbelievable job with their games.
Yeah.
Witcher was outstanding. So I believe in them. Oh. That's another game that's in my top 5, Witcher 3. But yeah, they make me excited for it only because I know that it's kind of like Rockstar. Like when Rockstar puts their name on something, there's going to be a certain level of quality to it.
Yeah.
but we'll see.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean,
I'm one of those guys. I don't look at delays as an issue. I look at it and more like the positive side. It's like they're making sure that the game is good when it comes out.
Yeah, I always fear it's one of two things, right? It's either, to your point, that it's a quality control thing, or
there's some real bad
the
issues.
really big issues that they're needing to address, and the question is whether it can be addressed. I mean,
I think what they're probably having a lot of trouble with is we're getting ready to switch console generations, and so they're trying to make sure that it runs good on both.
Which is what they need to do. I mean,
yeah.
Come November, everything is gonna flip over.
It's happened before where maybe it was Call of Duty Ghosts, where like there was a bunch of issues on the older system, but the new one it was completely fine. But a lot of people hadn't switched to the new system yet, so they were pissed, But
there's gonna be a lot of that. I mean, especially at that price point, there's gonna be a lot of people who don't buy in right away.
Yeah, I mean, since I switched to PC, I just don't stuff like that doesn't bother me, obviously. But I get it,
I'll have one.
What?
Be very excited. I'll get an Xbox. I'll get both.
Oh, okay.
I got both right.
So one thing that does impress me about the new consoles though is PlayStation's new SSD technology. That's definitely going to make its way into PCs and be a game changer. Have you kept up with that?
No, I haven't seen the specs on it. I saw the Xbox one, not the PlayStation.
It's not so much the specs; it's just that the like it can load the game in so quick now that you're like they used Spider-Man as like an example. You're like swinging through the city and it's loading in as you go. It can load that fast. Like it just never looks like it's rendering. It's just like there's no load times. It just you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really cool to see the capacity of what they're gonna be able to output out of those things. And hopefully they have titles that are worthy kind of right out the gate.
Yeah.
That can maximize those. That was the one thing I felt like when they released the Xbox One X is the Xbox One. They really didn't have titles that I thought could truly get them, because Halo got delayed.
That's right. Yeah, the only one that I felt I was like, all right, like I'm happy that I got an Xbox One X was PUBG, because I remember on the VCR sized Xbox, like you would land and it would take like 30 seconds for the building that you're in to load, whereas on the X, like it was right away. So I felt it in that game.
Yeah, the sporting games are usually pretty quick to adapt it, so like Madden and things like that. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how the shooter games go. And then self titles. I mean, I literally got a PlayStation for because their original titles are better than Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, I played through The Last of Us Part 2. That was one of our streams. Right now we're doing Spider-Man.
Okay.
We're recording episode 2 tomorrow. A lot of people have requested Ghost of Tsushima or whatever that is.
Yeah. I've heard good things about it.
Good things. But those are all PlayStation originals,
Yeah.
And Xbox doesn't have that. They had Gears and they played that out. They have Halo and they're trying to bring that, but that got delayed again. So we'll see.
Yeah. I feel like it was a missed opportunity to bring it up when we were talking about Dead by Daylight and spooky stuff, but one thing that I like to talk about on the podcast and my viewers like is conspiracy theories. You got any good ones that you that make you stop and think?
My impression on conspiracy theories is this: there is absolutely things that are happening that are government news and is outside of our pay grade, and you don't want to know about it. You don't want to know it exists. You don't want to know it ever happened. And absolutely, things are going down that you just gotta buckle up and say, "Hey, this one's on you guys," and I'm okay with it. It is. It is what it is. Cost of doing business. But no, I'm not one of those people who's like 9/11 was this or so and so, did that.
Yeah.
Or it just listen. If that actually happened, I believe that corporations have a much stronger pull than people think. I think that politics in this country is a sham. Pretty much, it's all a cover for other people's ploys. But outside of that, it's just listen. We're here. We're on the ride already. We're buckled in. We're strapped in. We're not going anywhere. It's not like going to Canada. Yeah,
the ones that make me pause and think are like the historical ones. like the idea that Hitler could have escaped, you know, JFK, things like that, the moon landing. I'm not into like the crazy stuff like, oh, we didn't go to the moon, we can't, like, you know, I'm not like that. I just think that with the moon, I had read and like watched stuff on it. They one of the arguments is that the footage, the type of footage back then, right, that they would have used, would be damaged by the radiation re-entering on the atmosphere, like through the atmosphere. So the idea is that that's why they might have faked footage, just because they couldn't show anything because it was all messed up. So
I have no idea.
It's just weird stuff like that that I.
You know, it's little thing. I mean,
Yeah.
well, and so when I was out in Vegas, this is when the shooting happened, right?
Okay.
And I had a person at my old company who was very much on board with the facts didn't add up here, right? You got one shooter, that many guns, but when you watch footage, there's bullets firing from multiple places, and you know, there's different rounds of ammunition being heard at the same exact time, and you know, it's these things and these ploys that you're cutting together, and it's like, okay, like that's crazy to think about. Like
Yeah.
your brain doesn't want to accept that that could have potentially been an outcome, and so, but could it have been? Yeah,
The Vegas shooting one is a weird one because I think the issue is there was no closure. Like,
none.
we don't know why he did
Weird.
it. And the narrative is that he just snapped and did that. But there's stuff. I think there's a SWAT team member who said that he had to breach the joint, like the room that was joined with it, and they found like another pair of gloves, stuff like that. So that's another big debate. You know, I get it. I get why people stop and they're trying to find answers. Like, I think that he was like a gun dealer or something, and it went bad, or all kinds of theories. They said that there was a laptop with a hard drive missing, things like that they found, but who knows?
I mean,
It's all he said, she said.
And it becomes the type of thing where you're literally like, all right, somebody somewhere knows what's going on. Like, our intelligence in this country is smart enough to identify, especially in something like that, what actually happened. And if they're literally to the point where they're like, nah, this story isn't good, we're going to go with this other one. Like, if that is the outcome, then we just gotta say, sure, sounds good. That's what we're gonna run with.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What about aliens?
I have. There has to be. There has
Okay.
to be. Whether they've interacted with our culture before, but the universe is too big to assume that there isn't life somewhere.
Yeah. Did you see the footage that came out?
Of what? No, I'm gonna say.
So the Navy declassified it. I can't remember when it happened. I want to say like early 2000s. It was they call it the Nimitz case. There was like a couple of, you know, fighter pilots that were on, like, they got launched because there was something in the airspace that they were guarding or something, and they call them like these tic tac. They call them the tic tac videos. They look like a giant tic tac, and they're just like darting around, and like they were having trouble locking onto them with their FLIR cameras. And the Pentagon came out and said they're real. Like they declassified it, and then they're saying there's a task force that is in charge of cases like that people said was a thing. You know, like the internet's always like, oh, there's this task force. They said that task force is real, and they're supposed to, Men in Black. They're saying that they're supposed to come out and declassify a bunch of stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's the universe is too damn big to just assume that we're the only life that exists out there.
I mean, I got some theories. I live in the LA area, so it boggles my mind that nobody talks about the Battle of LA, which is what the newspaper called it. You ever heard of that? There was I think it was 1942. There's famous pictures in all the newspapers of like all the spotlights shining on this thing in the sky that looks like a UFO that you would see in like a movie. And they were shooting at it with artillery for like an hour and it wouldn't go down. But
like that's crazy, right? I mean, it's just like,
but like nobody talks about it, you know. It's like one of those forgotten things.
You know, it's like there also has to be this other side of it though, that it's also like, all right, so if life exists elsewhere and they're coming, like, why isn't it more prevalently seen?
Yeah. So my idea is that a lot of this stuff, like if you go look at all these like Roswell, all that stuff, right, the crazy ones, it all kind of started to pop off once we created the atomic bomb. So I wonder if they are checking out the planet, maybe it's because we figured out nuclear technology and they're like watching us, you know. But who knows? It's just fun to think about.
For sure.
Yeah.
At the same time, you can't say it doesn't exist because it's just too vast. But then you're also like, all right, well, what do these things do? Like, why would they care? Why would they care about us and nuclear technology? You know,
Well,
and if they were here and they were afraid and they had that type of technology, why didn't they just wipe? You know what I mean?
yeah, I can't remember, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think. You watch Joe Rogan? Yeah. He talked to some guy, he was talking about the theory that there's like there's levels to civilizations that they have to push through, you know, or they hit a wall and they cease to exist, you know, like basically we kill ourselves, you know. Yeah. And so his idea is like, you know, they're waiting to see if we get through this next barrier, because then
COVID?
I don't think COVID.
They're just waiting. Are they gonna make it?
Yeah. Or the galactic zoo theory. The theory that like they're looking at us like we're in a zoo and they're just like stopping by like tourists to check us out. Like, oh, look at the humans.
It'd be like, all right, well, at some point, one of them would be like, all right, well, fuck these things, blow them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Elon Musk, he says that if they're visiting our planet, he doesn't think they're aliens. He thinks they're like artificial intelligence. We're not even worthy of sending real people to check out, you know?
There's something about that too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just fun to think about. Some guests are more into it than others, but
No, I've just always been such a listen. If it's happening, it's happening.
I respect that. There's nothing you can do about it.
No, and I'm not here in front of, and it's also, I mean, the same is true about, again, like I was saying about like just the politics and the amount of conspiracy that actually happens on a day. Like, what is actually going on?
Yeah.
Like if you pull back the curtain, what's actually happening? What information is actually happening? Anything that I want to be privy to. Like I'm good. I'm good. As long as we're not in complete turmoil.
Right.
Which heaven forbid our country feels like that at times. As long as we're not completely there where everybody's at each other's throats, like
you're good.
I'm here.
Yeah.
We're hanging out. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that people come up with though, like the whole idea that COVID was like a biological weapon.
That's my parents.
Really?
Hard.
Oh, they think that Wuhan lab.
Right. Yeah, that China developed it and sent it here, and it was a tactile virus that is attacking. And
yeah, somebody told me, because I go to 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, so it's like Eddie Bravo is cool, and Eddie Bravo's super into conspiracies, so I run into a lot of those guys. One of the theories was that that China made the virus to cripple our economy.
Well, of course, we owe them so much money. Why not?
Yeah,
and just that.
Yeah,
it's the whole. But that's kind of like what I'm saying is just like, could that be like in all reality? Is the technology out there that it could be a possibility that there is a universe where that happened? And you're like, yeah, that could. But do I want to sit here and pretend like that's the life I'm living? Like, no, I do not.
I mean, it's shitty to think that stuff would be like that, but my biggest argument is that we're human. Everybody's human, and we suck at keeping secrets. There's just no way, you know. I don't know if when I was following COVID, because I was in San Fran and they were talking about shutting things down, way back in like February, right? And San Francisco was the first one to shelter in place. Mm-hmm. And I mean, some of the stories I was hearing, they're like, what was I gonna say? Damn it, I lost my train of thought, to be honest. But they were just saying that, yeah, it was engineered, and like there's gonna be there was all these videos coming out. I remember it was like I kept getting sent links from friends that led me to Reddit, and it was like some translation of some doctor in Wuhan with like a mask on and stuff, like saying it was engineered. They're like, we're all gonna die.
And that's what, again, it's so crazy. And then there were like, again, like my stepdad literally said this the other day. He goes, it was created so that we could start to be like them. Was like the word he used. He's like, look, everyone's wearing masks. Everyone's doing it. They've been doing it forever. Now we're like them. I was like, stop. I was like, stop, please. But that's
when we don't have answers,
that's what I was about to say. When people don't have answers, they make up things.
Yeah, they try to fill in the blanks.
And people's imaginations are pretty powerful tools.
Yeah. Well, the new one going around right now that I've noticed on like, I check Facebook every once in a while because of family, honestly, and I'll see stuff because that's all it is anymore. What you cut out? What'd you say?
Ever on Facebook? I can't.
I'm thinking about deleting mine. I honestly don't use it.
Multiple times.
All it is just a personal thing that somebody can find.
Anything like my favorite part about Facebook is Instagram, right? It's seeing pictures of things and people and kind of keeping up with them that way.
Yeah.
But not like back in the day, I remember you used to go on people's walls and like, write like, hey, excited to see you tonight. And don't forget about so-and-so, or here's an inside joke. Like, it was way more interactive. Now it's literally not.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the last time I went to somebody's page and posted on their wall and said so-and-so, so-and-so.
It's just politics and ridiculous videos. It's like all it is anymore.
And so I've thought about that multiple times, just being like, I'm done with Facebook.
But the last big one that I saw the other day was there's like some like picture going around on Facebook, and it's of that building. Yeah, what was the building that just like not too long ago it blew up because there was a bunch of like leftover nitrate, whatever the explosives were, and it just leveled that whole area.
I don't remember.
The building that it was in, part of it's still standing, and they're like, are you kidding me? Like 2,500 tons of this stuff couldn't bring down the whole building, but 9/11 was brought down by jet fuel or something. I'm like, oh, here we go.
That buddy that I used to work with was a huge 9/11 conspiracist.
Yeah.
Huge.
There is a few things about 9/11 that like puzzle me, like the cell phone thing, like United 93 call it, like people calling their like family on their cell phones. They said you still can't even do that today. Like the towers, like you're moving so fast through the air, the towers can't communicate fast enough for you to get through.
Correct.
So that doesn't make sense.
A ton being said as well about, an object hitting a building in the middle. Why does it collapse from the bottom?
Right. Or building 7 across the street collapsing for no reason, like I said, the United 93 thing is kind of scary because the big argument for that is that we shot it down to protect the Pentagon from getting hit again. I could see that. Why would the government want to admit that we killed innocent people?
Correct.
But absolutely. I could see somebody making that call.
That back into this category of like, if that is the case,
it's fucked
up, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know that type of evil exists in the world.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just all about money. Everything leads back to money.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why, again, everything comes like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that's happening right now. Like,
what a mess.
What a mess. But then you start looking back at people who were like calling them out on this and how crazy we thought they were. Like, literally, I saw a video the other day of like Mel Gibson and how Mel Gibson back in the 90s was talking about how Hollywood is it's a perverted place full of freaking
pedophiles.
Pedophiles that shouldn't exist. And we're all like, that dude's nuts. And now you're looking at it being like, he was right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shitty. But I like the new one with that is Tom Hanks. People are debating whether Tom Hanks is a pedophile or not, but I guess the thing with that is just like, and like when Kevin Spacey, when it came out that he was
Yeah,
one of those people, it's like, damn man, he was a good actor.
dude,
I liked his stuff. Now, like if I say I like his stuff, people think that I support pedophiles or
talk
something,
about
you know?
how quickly, yeah, people fall. I mean, even what's going on with Ellen right now, right? Is all of a sudden
I
now this is being
What
shined
happened with that? I didn't really. I kept seeing things, but I didn't take the time to look into it.
multiple. So apparently, so her big MO, right, is that she's like the sweetest, nicest person ever.
Right. Yeah.
And the big MO now is apparently multiple coworkers are coming out claiming that she is a nightmare. She is very, very mean. She's very, very aggressive. She's very like almost abusive verbally to like her staff on a regular basis. And then you got people coming out that are like waitress staff and things like that. There was a waitress who basically was giving testimony that like she served Ellen and her partner and was just like verbally abused by Ellen because she had a chipped nail. It's like,
Yeah.
and you don't know how much of this is people just seeking fame and trying to
Yeah.
hit on a topic, but at the same time, it's like that's a lot of accounts of people being like, this person's.
Yeah. I mean, have you been keeping up with the Doctor Disrespect situation?
The last that I've seen in it was his side of the story saying that he still doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. Which
That's BS. There's no way.
I know. Like, I mean, he's like, you guys are like, like he says he's telling the truth that like he has no idea, but I'm just like, man, it's like Big Rob said. He's like, that's like, I don't watch sports. It's like LeBron James getting cut from the Lakers, I think is what he said. Like it's just it doesn't happen without them letting you know, like, hey, this multi-million-dollar contract, it's going bye-bye because you did this, you know?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And there's no chance. There's no chance that he never received a call, can't get somebody on the phone, and then they were just like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is he knows what he did. My guess is that it's covered under an NDA, and both parties agreed it makes the most sense for him to say, or his lawyers agreed it makes the most sense for
Yeah.
him to say, I don't know what happened. I still don't know. Because he can't talk about it, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's just, you know, shots in the dark trying to figure out what it was. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's because he was trying to start his own streaming platform, but I don't know. I mean, they've talked about him streaming on his own website. I could see that, but I don't. They were
Yeah.
saying maybe he was trying to like recruit people to start a streaming service or something.
That would be the thing that I have heard that seems the most likely is he not
Yeah,
only was creating a platform, but was trying and actively to recruit against Twitch and get some of the big names to jump all at once with him,
yeah,
almost like an anarch or a mutiny.
yeah.
And my guess is that they got caught, in the middle of the move.
And he was like the main person trying to do it. So yeah,
Correct.
that's why.
Correct.
Because it would have been it. I mean, that would suck, but that would have been interesting if it was more than one person. You know, then it'd be like, oh, they obviously both had something to do with it. You know, but
Yeah, the problem is right now is that Twitch has no competition. Mixer
yeah,
came in this trying to do it, but Mixer was not on the trajectory to get to that level, at least not with the tools that they had. I've heard that YouTube has, the capabilities to do it, but they don't have the viewers. You don't tune into YouTube to see live content usually.
right. That's not the type of place you think of to go watch something live.
Correct. Now, could they change that? Sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they could.
Yeah, I've heard that the biggest problem with Twitch is that because there's no competition, like any monopoly, there's nobody forcing them to improve their standard. And so, like, there's certain elements of their, like, especially on the streaming tech, that they're just like, yeah, we're fine with this being mediocre compared to what it could be.
Yeah.
And apparently, YouTube's output or the top can stream at and maximize as far as bit rates, as far as refresh rates, like all that type of stuff is much higher because it's already a video service.
How do you feel about Facebook gaming? I never took it seriously. I just
No. So here's my problem with Facebook gaming is it's directly tied for the most part to your Facebook,
right.
which has pros and its cons. Its pros is that it's you kind of already have a community that you can branch off of and grow from. But the con is that that community may not care about
Yeah.
gaming.
So I have when I first started to take streaming seriously, like I really started to put time into it. I did at first. I wasn't an affiliate yet. I started to stream to Twitch and Facebook at the same time. And the first time I did it, I can't remember, I got some ridiculous amount of views. And so they're like, "Oh, you should advertise this this, VOD of this stream for like $10." I'm like, "Okay." So I put $10. It got lots of views. I got a couple follows. It tells you how many times people actually click the link.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens if I put in $50, right? And it did nothing. Literally got no views. I think there's something fishy going on there with that. Like they're just trying to get people to drop some money. Plus, I think it counts if somebody like swipes past your thing and sees a full second of it. It counts that as a view. So yeah, I just never. I don't know. Just never took it seriously.
Yeah, it's not what they do. It's not who they are, and that's why I think YouTube is a real. It's because that is what they are, a video company. They are a video production and a compression company.
Right.
So they could handle that and with better output than Facebook's going to be able to. Facebook's a social media, and that's, I mean, Reels is another good example of how Facebook owned Instagram is butchering something. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah. So I talked to a couple other guests about it. So we discussed the idea that now that everything's kind of gone, I wouldn't want to say going back to normal, but like I said, people are starting to go back to school and work and stuff. I wonder if it's going to be like when Vine died, or what I mean, something like that, where there's like a wave of creators that come out of that. So like people who started because of COVID on TikTok and Twitch, if they get enough people, then like they could continue to do that. But there's gonna be a lot of people who started that can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean the thing about that I would say probably not is their biggest stars are 18, 16-year-old kids.
Oh, you mean like the TikTok ones?
Yeah, because that's what you're talking about, right? It's TikTok.
Well, I'm saying like I don't want to be like me, for example, but I mean if this whole COVID thing didn't happen, I would have gone to work and this would have never happened.
Correct. But now, it did happen.
Yeah.
So the question is, if work comes back, knowing what you've just done, would you automatically stop? And my response to that is, I've been working this whole time.
Yeah, my response is like, I've seen because of this that putting the time and effort into it equals how much you get out of it. I've done so much that for me to go back to go work in the movie industry where it's 12-hour days and literally have no time for anything else, at least for the first like 3 to 5 years until I actually get into like a specific department, I would have to say bye-bye to streaming and stuff. I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel like streaming is one thing. Yeah,
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think there is a lot of people who started because of COVID and because of their financial situation and having to go back to work and school will give up.
Do you think, but you're talking about Twitch, or you're talking about TikTok? I think there's a lot of streamers on TikTok or streamers on Twitch that will die off. But
yeah,
they weren't.
Okay, yeah, I guess I would say more Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch wasn't taking anything away from me, right? I mean, it's the thing I worry about is the same conversation, but with viewers. It's how many people were tuning into Twitch because they had nothing better to do, and then now they do, and they're not going to be tuning in anymore.
I do think that they aren't going to be able to watch as much, but I don't think they're going to go away because they're still going to look for something to escape to, That's the reason why Twitch is as big as it is.
But Twitch has grown immensely over this time period because of that, right? It's
viewership. So it's a big question.
How many people on Friday night who have been just staying at home and pulling up Twitch because they're sitting on the couch, but are now going out to a bar or going back out to socialize, are no longer tuning in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely TikTok already starting to see that like weekends don't do as well anymore.
Yeah.
because people are able to go out and do stuff again. So
Yeah. Yeah. They used to be weekends used to be the prime time. I post
yeah,
a video like a Saturday. I could post it in the morning and it would get hella views. And
yeah,
you're right. Yeah, it slowed down. And realistically, my best time is either like 9, 10 a.m. in the morning
yep,
or like 3, 4 o'clock at night. Those are kind of my prime times.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think I try to post from like 9 to noon. I try to get like 3 or 4 in 9 to noon, and then I try to make some so that while I'm streaming, when I switch games, I can just tap the button and upload one, and then I see people coming and checking out the stream as I'm streaming.
That's smart.
I had people. I mean, it started to ramp up, and I think it does have to do with the amount of viewers I start with now. 500 is enough that I'm popping up on top of whatever I'm at, or at least close to the top now.
Yeah.
I had over 600 people follow me during my stream yesterday.
That's insane.
Yeah. The days that I don't stream, I'm starting to see that like it's not as much. You know, I do think it's to the point where when I stream, it does. Before it was like when I streamed, that's when nobody followed me, unless it was their first time just stumbling upon for some reason. But now I think that I'm having more people come in and say, "Why is everybody talking about TikTok?" You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's becoming more of a thing. So it's interesting.
What's TikTok?
No, I mean like they're like, "Why is everybody talking about TikTok?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, they didn't. That's not where you're gaining viewers from non-TikTok sources.
Yeah, like I'm popping up in recommended and
that's
stuff.
The goal. I had that happen a couple of times. It's popped up in recommended. I mean, I play on Call of Duty where to get in the top few pages, you got to have thousands of viewers.
Yeah,
stupid. But yeah, I mean, the most of it, I peaked out at I think 117 is the most I've ever had in one single setting at any one individual time. But again, we keep growing. I mean, we peaked over 100 the other day, and it wasn't even like a special. Like the 117 was on my 12-hour stream. I had that thing hyped. I had TikToks and videos about it. I was posting about it on other social medias. Like we really built up the anticipation for it, so that when I did it, boom, people were there. The other day we did it. It was just a random day. It just happened to be a bunch of people that popped in at the same time, and then we got one raid that popped over, and it was like all of a sudden you're like at 107. You're like, holy cow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, you can sit and think about it as much as you want. You won't figure it out, but there was I want to say like a month and a half ago, I was playing Valorant, which I mean, I don't know right now. I know not as many people play it as they did when it like
my brother
first
loved it.
It's a good game. It's hard though. But I was playing and I had like 100 people, and all of a sudden it just spiked up to like 406 for like 10 to 15 minutes for no reason. I thought I was getting view botted, but I mean there was like legit people asking like, "How's the stream going? First time here?" Like there was real people,
Yeah.
And
well, Twitch was saying that one thing they were trying to do was start promoting mid-sized creators and like really promoting them as recommended channels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea. We had one the other day where there's a girl we were playing with. She went to my high school. All of a sudden, she had 1,000 viewers. I was like, that has to be a view bot. She's like literally just started streaming a little while ago.
Yeah,
there wasn't a whole interaction. She got a ton of followers.
So from what I've looked at, when you get view botted, it's like instantly. Like you shoot up from whatever you're at to
That's what it was.
Yeah,
she was literally at like 5, and the next one looked up. 1,000.
No, for me it was like I'm playing and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Hey, you have 150 people," and I'm like, "Oh, cool. Hey, now you have 220," and I'm like, "What?" And then like another 5 minutes, you're at 400, and I'm like, "What the hell?" My theory is that a streamer was trying to find somebody to raid and like watched me for a second.
Yeah,
but it was like, "Oh, this guy sucks at the game. Never mind,"
We're out. We're done.
Yeah.
Shut up.
What is it? What else was I gonna say? But yeah, who knows? It's weird.
Journey, man. That's the grind. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm getting rated more. I'm definitely like decent like like 50 size people raids. So
yeah, I'm getting mid-20s when I get raided a lot. Sometimes it's the lower people with like 3 or 4, but I try to raid too. I try to raid over to other people and promote them, and they always get excited.
Yeah, the only thing I don't do is raid people that like ask for it. They're like, "Hey, could I get a raid?"
Never.
Yeah. I try to explain to them. I'm like, look, if I open up that gate to where like all you have to do is just get my attention and I'll raid you, I'm just gonna get bombarded. You know? And then I also explained that getting raided is supposed to be a surprise. So if you're expecting it, the magic's gone, you know?
Okay.
There's not that same surprise. I felt so bad. I raided somebody the other day, and I checked out the stream, and I was like, okay, I know this guy from TikTok, you know, smaller guy. I've seen him making a lot of TikToks. He's trying. So then I go over, I tell him, hey, we're going to raid this guy. I've seen his stuff on TikTok, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I go to raid him. He had gotten up to go take a dump and left his camera on. And so we're all sitting there for like 10 minutes, just like, where the hell is this guy?
He comes back to
I rated him with like 90 people right after the COD reveal. And he comes back and he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I was using the bathroom. And I was like, well, we were all expecting him to come back and be like, no, you know, like, you know, and no, he was just like, I'm like, well,
that's my least favorite thing is when I raid somebody, they should just care less.
No offense, but I'm like, all right, well, that's never happening again. Like, yeah,
you're right. It makes me not want to raid, and then I'll go through a period, and then all of a sudden I'll raid somebody, and they'll have the opposite reaction, which is the most fun.
Yeah, right? When I raided Big Rob, he was just like over the moon about it, you know, and everybody in the chat was like, hell yeah, you know, they get hyped up about it.
Yeah, versus we did 2 raids last week. One was just like, oh, cool, like, yeah, thanks, Bad Bear, like, oh, that chat's going nuts, cool, you know, but kept playing. The other one was like, dude, my system is breaking because of his little emoji, all the follows, and then that you know, entices people to want to give bits and want to be, you know, dropping follows and subs, and because they just get more hype.
I also don't. If it's somebody I've rated before and it's been a while and they're like, hey, you should raid so and so, he's on again, I'll be like, I'll think about it, be like, yeah, you know. But if somebody's like, hey, you should raid this guy, he's a really good dude, I stopped doing that because they told me to raid a few people, and I went in and they were just like, no effing way, F yeah, F you, F this, F that, and people were just like, dude, he cusses too much, and left, you know. And I was just like, yeah, you know, like at the end of the day, you're taking your community and trying to introduce them to somebody, and when their ears get assaulted, you know, it's like, I don't know, to me it's just like, that sucks, you know.
No, I agree. I agree with you. You gotta be doing it the right way. And
I like to check people out before I raid them, you know.
I get it, man.
Yeah, they'll recommend them and I'll like screenshot it and check them out later, you know. So I do that, but
usually I have people DM me and I'll do my due diligence ahead of time. I had somebody recently press somebody and I did my due diligence. I was like, this person's not going to get rated. They're super low energy. They're super low, you know, excitement.
A big thing for me is if I pop in and I say hi and like there's like 5 people watching. If they don't say hi back, I'm like, dude, then you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not built.
You're not watching the chat, you know. To me, that's the most important thing.
100%. It's the interaction, right? It's the social element of a social platform.
Yeah.
All right, let me do this. I'm going to go get food, though, because I'm actually going live here in about an hour.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a good time.
Oh, I just got a text from Matt at Trump HQ, apparently.
Oh.
Bring on the political bombardment of texts and calls.
I've been getting them, yeah.
All over. It's absurd.
Dude, I mean, we almost went for 4 hours. So, crazy.
It's because that's how we do it.
Yeah. No, I seriously... To be honest, I mean, I didn't know if we were just gonna sit and joke around about stuff, but like, I seriously learned some stuff from you.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time, my man. Anytime, anything you need, let me know. Obviously, you know.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit you up about like the LLC thing. I got to get that figured out big time.
Some stuff there for sure.
All right. Yeah, whatever you can, just hit me up about it then, because I don't want to bother you when you're trying to stream or something.
You're fine. If you shoot me, I'm the type of person I don't check stuff when I'm going. So like if you shoot a message on Discord or you shoot me a message on like I'm gonna see it later.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah, brother.
All right, man. Sorry,
be
what?
Well.
Yeah.
Just say be well.
Yeah. Creators Unite, episode 8 in the books. Take care, man.
Take it easy.